This content is not suitable for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, we're live.
Hello.
I think so.
We are live.
Yeah, welcome back to another exciting episode of Pokemon D&D Wundoro Adventure. This is another special quarantine episode, so you'll notice that Matt is not here. You might see Salvador's ear in the corner. Or Matt's camera might be over it as he's
I'm just gonna mirror.
tuning in
like I'm
via Discord.
oriented correctly.
So Melissa's playing producer again, the wonderful substitute producer that she is.
Yeah.
So couple of thank yous today. Firstly, Kevin McLeod of Incompetech.com for most of the music that you'll hear here today, as well as Mikkel_Beats again on Twitter for the Pokey and Chill soundtrack, used with permission. Thank you. It's a wonderful addition to our regular soundscape. Thank you to @JoeTheDM for the Pokemon 5e homebrew that we are playing, and you can find that as well at www.pokemon5e.com if you want to play along. And a new addition, we have The Lighter Arts, who is doing our new player tokens, more sprite-like, something I was looking for initially. These more just suit the style that I was going for, I guess. We will be seeing more of them. Did a excellent job, so check her out at The Lighter Arts. I believe they're already on the screen that you guys can see, or maybe not, but you will. Anyways, how's everybody feeling tonight in quarantine land?
I miss my kids.
I miss people in general for once in my life.
Well, fair enough.
It's like a really weird feeling for me because normally we spend weeks saying goodbye, or like before Christmas we say goodbye, and then before Easter we say goodbye, and then like spring break you spend like weeks of parents like giving you gifts and saying goodbye, and then like they're gonna be having a fun summer and they'll be back in September, but all this uncertainty and not getting to say goodbye to them has killed me, and I worry about them daily like a weirdo.
Well, if anybody else at home is feeling lonely and wants somebody to talk to, we are all on the Discord channel for Hivestream. The link is in the YouTube description at the very least. I think we've got that in the Twitch as well, maybe? I don't know.
No, because Twitch only lets you have so much in the description.
Fair enough. So, come and join us, hang out. We don't bite, or try not to, or at the very least, you can't risk that through the internet, so.
Yeah.
Alright, anything else anybody has to say?
Isolation.
No.
We've been in isolation, so if we do bite you, it's not even that bad.
Well, except for
hope.
me. I've been out there working the front line. Essential
So
worker.
technically all of my isolation is shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your isolation is forfeit.
Yep.
This has been our topical episode of Pokemon D&D. Okay. So, let me get us started. So last time you finally completed what we would call a quest. You set out a while ago to deliver the Mother Exploud and her baby Whimsmer to a home where she could peacefully raise her young without the fear of a threat or other Pokemon trainer. In doing so, you met up with a new friend, or possible ally, Calum. You helped him accomplish his own goal of discovering a number of minerals for use in his father's fireworks display in a local abandoned mine.
Uber nearly deadly.
It was
on multiple occasions.
It was touch and go a few times there.
For not just Jackson.
But you guys
Yeah.
generally came out on the up and up. Maybe some haunting memories.
Brooke's exhausted, but fine.
And you're making your way back to Haventown, to which you have heard of a festival about to occur,
Yes.
some fireworks, and maybe a little bit of downtime.
We earned those fucking fireworks, man.
Which brings us to today. So,
We set out late. No, midday.
You guys were between afternoon and evening.
Yeah.
We'll call it 4 o'clock. The rain is just starting to part. The sun is starting to shine, what little there is, in this late afternoon, evening sort of time. Calum is sort of leading the pack at this point. He seems a little rushed, as he noted before taking off. You guys are running fairly close to his deadline this time. You are going to be traveling for about a day and a bit, is what you imagine. So you've got one night and then a whole day, and you should be arriving, hopefully, by tomorrow evening, with enough grace period for them to mash up what they gotta do and set off some colorful fireworks.
Sounds good. We're just following Calum.
Following Calum. Oh, Matt, I should say, you did gain a little bit of experience. I didn't have enough time to add on Sudowoodo. Can you add 976 experience?
976?
Yeah.
That couldn't have been... Yeah, okay, so that makes him 14, 110, 116. Oh, that's a bigger number than it should be. 14, 116.
Perfect.
There we go.
And I just got Liam out, and I'm falling behind Calum.
Okay.
Tired.
Well, he acknowledges it. He's also not slowing his pace,
Oh,
per
no.
se.
Don't expect him to. I'm just tired.
Jackson, what about you?
Just chilling with Billy walking up beside me, probably.
It's a strange sensation marching along with Billy. You're used to looking down or seeing him
Carrying him.
Yeah, but he stands just below your eye level at this point in time, and he walks along, I wouldn't say confidently, he's still got that clumsy gait, and every now and then he falls, but instead of like catching it out of your periphery, you see him full on, just sort of topple over a little bit, catch himself, and keep going, and he looks up at you and smiles.
Perfect.
Is there anything you would like to accomplish this night? Anything you'd like to talk about?
No, I think Brooke's pretty tired. Jackson has something.
I might pop Mawile out and try bonding with her.
Okay.
Because she's been a tough one.
So you release Moal from her Pokeball?
Yeah.
Okay. She does so. Seeing you guys walking around, she seems a little surprised, honestly, to see this new landscape before her. Looking around, seeing the fields and the trees and the rocky shrubs and bushes. Her large mouth kind of opens defensively, just instinctually, and then closes, and he looks around and sees that the group is marching forward, and he looks backwards and doesn't seem to note anything of interest, and looks around and sees you guys continuing to move and starts slowly following.
Perfect.
She doesn't seem intent on keeping gait with you, but she is not falling behind.
Okay, perfect. She's just gonna do her own thing.
Mostly. She's taking stock of the landscape, mostly. But you also get the impression that she doesn't particularly want to be just left behind here. So
Yeah.
she's following you begrudgingly, almost.
She'll come around.
Eventually. I can imagine they all do.
Oh, that was out of character.
Oh.
Calum sort of turns around as he's walking and says, have you ever had that kind of problem with another Pokemon before? This one seems rough.
Not yet. I mean, not me. I know Sassy was not... I mean, she wasn't great until we
She's
Actually,
just stubborn.
Caught her.
Little stubborn. But she cares. She just has a weird way of showing it. Machu's a little bit of a brat, but not like
But
angry.
he's lovable. That's all. He's
Yeah.
lovable even if he's a little shit.
I don't think I've
Exactly.
met Machu.
He's a little.
No, you haven't.
Okay.
He's my little Pichu.
Oh, Pichu. Okay. All right, I know that one.
Do you have much Pokemon or just
Just Magby.
Magby here?
Just Magby. He was a gift from my father. I'm not a trainer by any means. I no stretch of the imagination.
You don't have to be a trainer to have Pokemon in and out of your life.
You and Magby seem to get along well enough too.
We do. I don't know if I could manage more, the feeding and the exercise, and Pokemon have specific needs, and I can barely take care of myself, huh? No.
Oh, I feel that.
There.
I mean, you say that, but I mean, you seem like a fairly accomplished trainer.
I was thinking more in the physical sense of being able to take care of myself. I can take care of my Pokemon just fine, but I have a hard time, that's all.
Fair enough. He looks you up and down. You still probably be covered in some manner of mud and muck and wetness that is yet to
Bruises.
dry.
From the near two deaths.
Yes. How could I forget?
Yeah, that's the takeaway from the last couple sessions. Abandoned mines are dangerous, and children should not play in them. Or old men.
I'm not
Or
a
old.
child. I am a teenager.
You're a children.
I am child adjacent.
As you guys continue on walking through the fields, again, the landscape changes gradually as you move into the darkness of the night. It changes from the rocky, little bit of hilly, shrubby landscape into a more lush, flower-filled field sort of setting. And you know from traveling this direction that it will get more and more lush the further south you go. But the light is fading. Is there anything you'd like to do while you prepare for a night's rest,
Just
or are you
feed my
continuing to go?
Pokemon dinner.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
I would note at this point in time, I do not believe either of you have bedrolls anymore.
Nope.
Okay. It is a dry night. The landscape is still a little bit of wet from the rain and the storm that came through here, so it's not entirely comfortable, but it's not harsh. It's not a dangerous sort of setting at this point in time. You don't imagine that the cold or whatever would be of danger to you.
Perfect.
Curl up with Ryolu and rest. I'm tired.
Jackson?
I've already used my speaking thing today to talk to him a while, haven't I?
Yes.
I think
Was
so, yeah.
that? Yeah. Couldn't remember if that was the day before or today.
No, that was definitely today.
Okay, perfect. Then I'ma just sit down, prop myself back up against a tree that might be close by, and just give him a while look and pat the ground beside me and be like, hey, you can come and sit with me if you want to.
Looks at you and deliberately sits on the opposite side of a fire that Calum and Magby are slowly building.
That's fair.
She sits half turned away from you, half looking out towards the rest of the landscape, and then up at the stars as they start to twinkle and come out, the clouds themselves dispersing enough to give you a pretty clear view of the night.
Perfect. And I'll just nod off eventually there. Doing my best to bond with him a while.
Okay. Calum likewise finishes up the fire. He pulls out some sandwiches that he had and eats most of it and hands a bit more of it to Magby. They get a fire going easy. Meg be lighting it without any trouble. And there's lots of stuff around here, twigs and other debris that is easy to light. The night passes without any issues, and you guys are greeted by the warm morning sun.
I got more hit points now. I mean, like,
Hey,
that I can give
that means a
people.
rest.
Hey! I can
Nice.
do more healy hands.
Oh, I should have checked and see if I gained anything for level 6. I think level 6 is uneventful.
Well, because it's like lay on hands, it goes up, right?
Oh, yeah.
5 times my level every time. So.
Wow.
Oh,
Hold
yeah,
on.
that's right.
So every time I level up, it goes up a 5.
Yeah.
All right. There's a cool wind that blows this morning, but the sun is warm, and you find yourself sheltered between bushes and whatnot. It's comfortable.
So we still got a ways to go, hey, Caleb?
Yeah, X's watch as he pulls another granola bar out of his bag and says, I'm sorry, I should have offered you. Does anybody want a granola bar? Dad sent me with all sorts of snacks and stuff.
I think
Sure.
I'm fine. I've got my rations. But thank you.
Here you go, Brooke.
Thank you.
Actually, could I take one?
Yeah, absolutely. I offered here.
Now,
If you
are these healthy for Pokemon?
Yeah. It's mostly nuts and honey and some dried cranberries and stuff in there. Nothing too
Break
exciting.
it in half and share it with Liam.
Perfect.
He takes it
and
gratefully. Starts chewing
I'll-
on it.
Break mine in half.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got Billy and his Mawile still here.
Moyle is still there. She nodded
Perfect.
off. She seems to like lean against her large maw-like horn. At any point in time, it's almost like her own personal boulder to lean against.
Mhm.
And as you come over, she rouses from her own sleep, is surprised to see you there, and stands up defensively and looks at you, her large maw leering open, challenging you to come closer.
And I'm gonna come closer with the granola bar in hand. And I'm just gonna stick it in the open mouth. Just,
It
here you go.
It snatches it just and starts mashing it, and she looks at you almost perplexed.
I'm just
And-
feeding you.
Nods her head a little bit, and the mouth opens a little bit, but not like it was before. She lowers her shoulders a little bit, and you can see she lets her guard down, and she looks around, everything around her, and the other people likewise rousing from their sleep.
Perfect. So I know I've given all of my other Pokemon nicknames. I'm having a little more trouble with yours, but I think I found one that might work, at least for now. Do you have any hatred towards the name Maui?
Maui?
Mawy. That's the best pun I could think of for her.
She looks at you and squints, almost like she's trying to understand what you just said to her,
Like,
and then looks
yeah.
away.
I mean, if you look at my Sudowoodo over there, I named him Billy, and that's what he responds to when I talk to him, and I refer to him as Billy. It's kind of a term of endearment.
She
So
looks
I
over
figured-
at Billy, and then back at you.
So I figured I would do the same for you, because I've done that with all of my Pokemon, and give you the nickname Maui.
She looks over at your Sudowoodo. I want to call it Bonsly. This is gonna be weird the more your Pokemon start evolving.
Yeah.
It's
It's gonna be funny when I get the other bonds layout and I put it in the party too.
Yeah, she looks at the Cita Widow, looks back at you, and looks at Caleb, who has started to kick some dirt over top of the remains of the fire and starts packing up his stuff and moving towards the end, looking for you guys to sort of finish your stuff and start moving, kind of looking off to the distance.
During that time, I made sure all my Pokemon were
Impatiently.
fed.
Okay. You took out each one of them and gone around.
Yeah.
The Mawile looks back at you, Jackson, and then looks towards Caleb and starts walking in the direction that Caleb seems to be starting in.
Perfect. And then I'll let out Angus and Perp real quick, and I'll feed them just
Okay.
a couple of rations.
Yeah. Perp is happy and smiles and takes the food graciously and eats it kindly. Angus is like all over you. As you lean down to try and give him food, he's licking your face and tugging on your sleeves a little bit.
Oh, I'll give him some scritches because it's been a bit since I've had the good boy out.
He rolls over and gives his belly to you.
Oh yeah, I'll give him belly rubs. Hell yeah.
Our
Hell
dog
yeah,
is looking at me
boy.
funny.
Dog was like, what?
Does he look like he wants belly rubs now too?
No, was more like, I'm disturbed by what's going on, and now that it's over, I'm going back to sleep.
Yeah. Sounds like an appropriate response.
And just follow after him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Caleb, how far out do you say we are?
I'm trash with directions.
Oh, okay.
I'm hoping that we can get there by the evening. Like, I really need to get this stuff to Dad, or else he's not gonna be able to do what he needs to do. So I'm kind of.
Fair enough.
Would I have any sort of inkling as to how far out we are with the natural explorer stuff?
Yeah.
Let me double check.
You guys came exactly this way before, anyways. You
Yeah.
remember more or less not the path you took, because there wasn't a path. You guys intentionally avoided the route heading north. But the landscape itself looks familiar to you, and this is your area of expertise. You are maybe a 7-6 hour walk from town.
And
Perfect.
it's still like early morning.
Yeah, it is.
That's not bad.
Yeah, you guys are going on maybe 7, 8 in the morning.
So we'll get there by like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, assuming it's a straight shot, absolutely.
Alrighty. Feeling a little bit more refreshed this morning. Brooke's gonna look around. She knows she doesn't have very many Pokeballs, so she's just wanting to look and see if there's any signs of the Chimchar that she cares about.
Any signs of the Chimchar that she cares about?
What, only the one Chimchar you care about? God.
Yeah.
Give me a perception check.
Act.
Yak.
Just at 13.
There's no signs of some sort of fiery ape. You figure that would stand out, or you would see some sort of track or something that lends to that. In fact, this morning, finding tracks, period, is kind of difficult, just given the fact that lots of stuff was washed away. Now, you know where to look for Pokemon. Say you guys turned up a ton of bug types before on your way northwards here, and you imagine there's more Pokemon out and about, but as of this morning, you haven't seen anything, and it's relatively quiet, except for the light wind.
Okay. She's just gonna keep looking, just kind of passively as they walk, and say, Liam, you help me keep an eye out for Chimchar when we're walking around?
Looks up at you.
Okay.
And he starts looking around and looking high, looking low, and checking the ground. He looks back at you.
Just whenever we're going, because I'd like to make him part of our group.
Nods.
Yeah, he could be your buddy. Okay.
Nods and starts moving forward a little bit in front of you. You can tell that he's like looking around this bush, looking off down the field a bit, straining his eyes the other way.
Yeah.
Keeps moving.
Just keep walking. Not looking to pick any fights.
You guys make it a fair way down the field. And again, it turns lusher and lusher and lusher. It almost gets more difficult to walk just given how thick the plant life is in and around here. But it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful part of the country. Tons of green. The landscape is dotted with a number of wildflowers that are blue and pink and yellow and white, of a number of different varieties. Jackson, you would be quite familiar with a number of these. It's like a garden, almost.
Nice.
It's beautiful, and you kind of get a sense of why Haventown is the way that it is. Just given where it is a natural hotspot for life. You see Caleb taking it in as he goes, picking up a flower here and handing it to Magby, who sort of nibbles on the petals. And he laughs and keeps moving. He collects a few others, and he sort of looks back at you, Jackson, and sticks one in his pocket.
Wait, 6-1 in Jackson's pocket or 6-1 is in his own pocket?
In his own pocket.
Like you have in yours.
Yeah. How is that flower doing actually?
It's dry. It's not gross. But given how wet it is, you imagine that's probably prolonged its life a little bit. Like it's not going to live forever.
Yeah.
The last one that you
I'm gonna
had
take the best care of it I can.
was fairly preserved, so it did. But you've replaced it with that rose now.
Yeah. I might need to find another one of these when we get in town.
Yeah, we can just trade it out.
Yeah. Maybe find a way to preserve it so I don't have to keep changing them out, but...
You could buy a flower for every place we visit and dry it out and have a bouquet of flowers from your adventure.
I could do that.
It'd be pretty
That
cool.
would- And that would be a nice present for Rose when I get back to her.
Yeah.
Caleb smiles and he says, "Have you mentioned Rose before? I don't know if I'm familiar with that name. Another one of your Pokemon?
No, that's my my late wife.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't realize.
Oh, it's okay. I didn't until recently either, so...
Wow, that's...
Years haven't been kind to me.
I'm even more sorry I brought it up now. Yeah, sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I feel like the more I talk about it, or the more that I dig into it, the more I'll remember about her. And I think this is what this adventure's about to me more than anything else.
That's really interesting. You mean this adventure as in your current Pokemon adventure, your
Yeah.
trainer journey, as they call it, I believe?
Yeah, I just kind of found a piece of paper next to my house one day that said, oh my god, what did it say? Hang on. Now I gotta find out my actual backstory. What the fuck? Where?
As he goes
Where?
rooting
There
through
it
his
is.
bags.
Yeah, there it is. I found a piece of paper. It was burned. And said a part of me has always regretted not pursuing my dream of trading Pokemon and someday battling my way to the top. So that's what sent me on my way, and I don't think it was ever my dream. I think it might have been Rose's.
Your late wife,
Yeah.
So she wanted. Was she a Pokemon trainer?
I don't remember. Not yet. But I'll get there.
Well, I hope you do remember.
I do too. Thanks, Caleb.
Of course. I mean, we've got half a day to walk, right? But you can talk about her as much as you want. Anything you remember. I mean,
Yeah, for now, I think that's not even something I remember. That's just me trying to put two and two together. Because it's not my writing on the paper. And I don't know who else could have possibly wrote something like that would make me want to go out of my way to do something I'd never even considered before, to be honest.
you never thought about doing this before.
No, I was a gardener my whole life. I was never really interested in Pokemon as far as I remember. I mean, I don't know. I'm remembering lots about myself I never thought would happen, so maybe I am actually totally into being a Pokemon trainer and I just didn't realize.
Maybe you never knew you needed it in your life.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, there's nothing that's happened to us so far that I can't remember, so maybe that's a good sign. Considering how quickly everything else goes.
That's positive. And maybe it wasn't your dream, but it doesn't mean it can't be.
Exactly. Maybe it can be. And I can do this for both of us and not feel like I have to do it just for her.
Exactly. Besides, like, in my family, we all go on a Pokemon journey for a little bit, but for some of my siblings that lasted years, and others it lasted like a year. So I mean, you might find in a year that you've seen enough, you've done enough, and you want to go back, or this might be your passion, and you can share that with her.
That would be nice. Yeah, we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm liking it so far, so there's no complaints. I can see why she would want to.
It's fun. Seeing new things. But I can see
what
how
kind of-
people would miss home.
Caleb sighs and says, "Yeah, I've been home in months. Didn't
You've
see
been
the
out for
appeal of
months
being
looking for things?
No, not looking for things. Just on the road with Dad. We did a number of festivals and such. Anywhere that we can pick up a job, you know. Wundoro's
Fair
not
enough.
big, and fireworks crew can find work one end to another if they're good enough and they have the right contacts, right? No, we've been here and there and wherever. I haven't been back home in a long time.
Yeah. But has your dad ever thought about going places other than Wundoro?
Oh yeah, he's talked about it. Absolutely.
Oh, that could be a new fun adventure.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. He's just so excited about, you know, bigger explosives and more colorful displays, and he'd love to try some of the stuff out from like Johto and Kanto. Like, he's told stories about some of the shows that they put on. Yeah, he would love to leave Wundoro. He would love to do this anywhere, honestly. That's
what
just
he's
another
passionate
milestone
about.
for him. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
There's lots of cool Pokemon in other regions too. Not that you want to be a Pokemon trainer, but
Interesting to see. I mean, as long as they're not going to eat me, you know.
I don't think
gonna
anybody
slap
could
my
make
mail
that
with that.
promise.
Yeah, the Mawile is walking like 5 feet away due to social distancing. Yeah.
6 feet.
6 feet. No,
Six.
she's breaking it a little bit.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Better
I
not
mean, it's closer
sneeze.
than she's been before.
yeah.
She's getting there. She's warming up to us.
You guys continue on through the day, making light conversation as you do.
What kind of flowers are kicking around this field?
Oh, geez, you're gonna make me tell you the
Yep.
name of wildflowers?
Crocus.
No, wrong season for crocuses. As I type in
I'm
crocus
gonna make
into
you
Google.
Google.
Bluebells.
There are
Because Jackson would be pointing them out and being like, "Oh, that's this, that's this, that's this."
Yeah, you see in abundance a number of wild lilies, especially in the
Oh.
shadows of some of the trees and whatnot. You point out a yellow trout and a white trout lily. You point out a bush with these white berries, and you say that's a white baneberry bush. So on and so forth.
Cool.
Those are the type of prompts where I should be like, yeah, Mr. Gardener, what kind of flowers are you seeing?
But it's your world, Mr. DM. So I don't know what's native to this region.
Crocuses. It's just not the right season.
All year, everywhere, always crocuses.
Yep.
And there's a Rosalia.
The day continues on fairly quiet. You see some bird Pokemon in the far, far distance, high up in the sky, and they pass you by a large berth, so far that you can't particularly make out what they are, just small. But no other signs of recent Pokemon activity anyways, and nothing immediately around you. You gather probably from your general light conversation and whatnot, you've made your presence known in this area, and the wild Pokemon are either avoiding you or have noticed your presence and given you a berth, as wild animals typically do.
No dying allowed.
Always. Caleb,
Yeah?
do you know much about the local wildlife in terms of Pokemon, obviously?
I don't know what you mean. This is maybe my second or third time to Haven Town, and definitely the longest I've spent outside of it. I'm not the guy to talk about this stuff.
Fair enough.
Why? What are you after? What do you...
I'm just wondering if chimchars are normal in this area.
I don't think I know what a Chimchar is.
It's like this little fiery dude. Looks like a person, but more furry.
Oh, I was thinking Magby there for a second. But Magby's decidedly not furry.
Kind of like Magby, but with a mouth instead of a beak.
Okay.
And
I'm picturing it.
fire coming out of its rear end.
Sounds gross.
It's pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
Have we seen an Apom?
You have. You guys were held at
Nice.
gunpoint by a couple of robbers with an Apom.
That's what I thought. It's like an Apom, but on fire.
I do know what an Apom is, and that is frightening.
Yeah.
Like with the teeth and the hand tail.
no,
Not
no
the
hand
tail,
tail.
no.
It's like an Apom from hell.
No. He's cute. He's sweet. Or she. I didn't get to ask.
Oh, so you're looking for a specific
Yeah. Sorta.
infernal Apom.
Yeah. We ran into one back in Brambletown, and we thought it was hurt, but it wasn't hurt. It's like got a deformity of some kind.
Oh, wild Pokemon then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've ran into it a couple times, and I feel like I need to have this Pokemon. But not just any Chimchar.
That one.
That one.
He's had a rough go. It'd be nice for him to have a trainer who cares about him.
Yeah.
I see. I haven't seen. But I'll keep my eyes open. Where was the last place you saw this Pokemon? Was it out this way, like before you met me?
It was before we met you.
But I think it was
Remember
down further
How we
south,
talked
though.
about the Exploud
Mm-hmm.
and how its baby was taken?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this Houndour was like enslaving practically a bunch of smaller, weaker Pokemon to get berries for it. The Chimchar was one of them, and so was the Exploud's baby. That was the last time we saw it.
Oh. Well, that Pokemon's not out here somewhere.
I don't think so. And honestly, some Pokemon I'm sure are pretty territorial. Maybe the Houndour is, but it got its butt kicked. So
Oh, yeah.
it might have just tucked tail and ran elsewhere. Depends on how territorial it is to that place. But it probably would feel like it's been chased out. Mama Exploud gave it a good run for its money.
It was tougher than the Exploud.
Yeah. I
Wow.
mean, she got pretty burned up. Jackson and I kind of sort of had to chase it off the rest of the
Yeah,
way.
I saw the
Yeah.
scars, the burns. That's wow. There's Pokemon like that. You see on TV the battle leagues and whatnot, and some of those guys are raising some pretty strong but I've never thought, out in the wild. Beyond, you hear of mythical Pokemon from beyond the ages.
You do?
Sure,
I've
all
never
sorts
heard of that.
Yeah, stories. I can't speak to the curriculum in other parts of the world, but I mean it's common myths and stories. Pokemon that controlled the land and the seas. Pokemon that control time and space. Ancient, powerful, gigantic Pokemon that people haven't seen in hundreds of years.
Yeah, we have stories of Pokemon like that from where I'm from. Never seen any myself, but
I've never heard any of these stories, and that's terrifying.
Well, I mean, like I guess comparing your Houndour, you said,
Yeah.
to one of these Pokemon isn't quite a one-to-one. These are the type of Pokemon that brought on calamities, end of the world type stuff.
that's terrifying.
Yeah, I imagine this is something that's not quite that caliber, but of the champions and whatnot fighting in the Pokemon leagues, sure. Was somebody set out to capture, or I can imagine having a Pokemon like that out and about puts people at extreme risk, not just other wild Pokemon.
I mean, it can, but even powerful Pokemon can still be gentle and kind. I mean, yes, to be fair, that one was demonstrating
A bit
some
of a dick.
questionable behavior, but still another just creature in our world, right?
Yes, but dangerous. Is what I mean.
So we're people.
Yeah, but when a person gets out of line, you call the cops.
When a Pokemon gets out of line, you call some Pokemon agency.
So
Or elite trainer or something.
So did you? Is that something that happened?
No.
No, we just kind of talked to. Do we even tell Nurse Joy that about the Houndor? Or do
I think we
just
did. I think we told her
focused
how
on
that happened.
getting Explode
Explode.
treatment?
I'm just saying, where I'm from, my parents, they own and operate a rescue facility, and not all the time is it rescues. Sometimes it's an unruly Pokemon that's large and powerful in an area it shouldn't be, and it needs to be relocated or rehabilitated. And there's just creatures too.
Kind of like Maul.
Yeah,
Kinda, I guess.
she's dangerous, but she's not incapable of love and affection, I'm sure.
I think I'm gonna try to keep her out of the Pokeball as much as I can. I feel like that'll be important for her, specifically in building trust.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably right. And if she spent her whole life in those tunnels, she might not have seen the outside world. It could be real eye-opening.
It sounds like, from the conversation I had with her before, that she hasn't spent her entire life in these tunnels. She wouldn't tell me where originally she was from. Understandably, we have someone you don't know anything about razzing you about where your family lives. You're probably not just gonna tell them, but
Probably not. That's like Stranger Danger 101.
oh yeah. But we'll get there eventually, and maybe we can bring her back to her family just for a visit sometime.
You said you talked to her. Do you? No, I didn't hear words per se, but you understand her.
Yes.
Every now and then. I can only do it once a day, it seems.
That's nothing short of amazing. I mean, you talked before how you were doing this for your Rose, but it almost sounds like, something that you're made to do. You know what I mean? Like this, not everybody can do that. Nobody can do that. That's a very specific and different sort of thing. I mean, you hear about people who talk to their Pokemon, right? The way that Brooke talks to her Pokemon, but you have a special sort of connection.
I suppose. I never thought of it that way, but I mean, Brooke can heal hers like no one else I know. I think that might be unusual as well.
Maybe I'm more like my mom than I thought I was.
That's you know what? I'm really grateful for the conversation and the walk back. It's nice being out with other people who's not my dad.
Fair enough.
It's kind of nice.
Probably old enough to be your dad's dad. Maybe even your dad's dad's dad.
Yeah, you probably are.
Yeah. Seeing other people than your family can be nice. But I also wouldn't take your family for granted.
I don't.
Okay.
Sorry, I shouldn't be giving you that impression. My dad's a really good guy. He means nothing but the best. Feel like I've kind of denigrated him a bit.
No, family's a big deal to me. I have a large, really close family, and being out here is the longest I've been away from them. So, just don't take it for granted. That's all I'm saying.
I've always been a bit of a loner as far as I know, but...
You, Mr. Chatterbox? A loner?
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily take family for granted, but I could say there's something to be said for the fact that spending any a long amount of time with one individual could get grating regardless of how much you love them. So taking a little break every now and then is probably not bad.
Yeah.
Says the man rediscovering the love for his wife. So maybe take that one with a grain of salt.
Galen laughs kind of uncomfortably. In the distance, you can see a new sight. Firstly, the town, which is tiny, like it's a row of buildings down one street. But you also see a couple new constructions. You can see the outline of what appears to be a Ferris wheel. You can see some other mechanical sort of devices. And the town itself seems to have grown to triple its size. Not in buildings, but in a number of tents and various attractions. You can hear music. Just a small band sort of stuff. You can hear a loudspeaker as somebody says something. It's incoherent from this distance, but it's definitely a person speaking. Either announcements or some sort of thank you. There's the light cheer of a crowd, and the music starts again. You can imagine if it was darker, there'd be a number of lights on the Ferris wheel, which you can now see spinning.
I just had a thought, Jackson. They're setting up for a festival. Maybe they have, like, hands-on work that we can do. Get some money.
Maybe that. I was gonna say maybe that comes with some pay, and we can get some more Pokeballs and get some more Pokemon and have the
And things.
self-fulfilling prophecy continue.
You know, a sleeping bag and, you know, things like more potions and Pokeballs and things like burn heals and stuff are starting to seem relevant now. And
Yes.
so, yeah, maybe we can get some grunt work.
Yeah, maybe. That sounds like not a bad idea, that's for sure.
Caleb points over and he says, I think the Ferris wheel is already going. The festival started last night. It might be
Oh,
to...
Tear down? Tear down.
Yeah, perhaps.
tear down.
There's
Maybe they
always-
have positions
Booths.
open for vendors.
Yeah.
Yeah, booths.
Sure.
Like-
you guys sell things? You have
No, I
trades?
can
Work
run a
at someone's
popcorn
booth.
stand.
Sure.
Anything to get some money.
Kinda
I wonder
broke.
if Dennis has anything.
Who's Dennis?
He was the guy in the flower shop. He might need a hand.
I was definitely like, who's Dennis popping out of Jackson's memory too? Okay.
Alan shrugs. He says, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty. We were at this festival last year. There's all sorts of cool carnival games and music, and of course the fireworks and whatnot. I mean, there's plenty to do.
It would be like running away and going to the circus for a day. Joining
Yeah.
the circus for a day.
He nods. Yeah, that's exactly what that would be like.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe popcorn actually sounds really nice. You guys continue walking on. And you come to the edge of the town, and the town is bustling. There's a whole field that is dedicated to just vehicles, and the town is overflowing with people and noise and just general stuff. The shops that are lining this, the general business that would be going on here, is all shut down. Every single building that you pass, there is a sign up in the window that says closed
It
for
was
business.
Matt.
That was me.
I was like, somebody followed us or subscribed? Except for the Poke Center, which is still open. There's a number of people inside, various trainers and whatnot. Nurse Joy seems to be quite busy, and her Wigglytuff running back and forth, tending to different people. She has some juice boxes, and she comes over and she almost throws them at each one of you.
Yeah.
And she keeps going very
Thank
rushedly.
you.
Caleb, watching you guys walk inside the Poke Center, nods to each one of you and he says, thank you again. I gotta go and meet my dad. You're more than welcome to join me, but I imagine you have other things you wanted to get to. But perhaps I'll see you tonight at the fireworks display?
Yeah, I'd love to see the fireworks.
Sure.
That sounds
If
amazing.
actually, would you and your father maybe need a hand?
Perhaps. I could always ask him.
But in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Sure.
we'll kick around here for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe he needs some help setting up or something. I mean, usually we couldn't let you too close to the actual fireworks themselves.
Oh no.
Need to be a technician of sorts. It takes a special license, and I wouldn't want you to get more hurt on my account, you know.
Fair.
But there's probably something that you could do.
Yeah, if you need some grunt work.
Yeah.
Sure.
Raylo and I are strong, right? That fist bump him.
The fist bumped you back. Ooh.
And Billy's strong. I'm not going to say that about myself. I'm definitely not. I know myself.
Calum motions off in a direction. He says, the fireworks tent is set up over there, and we're going to be setting up in the field behind it. So when it starts, I don't know, I imagine another 3-4 hours. Right now it's about 3. Why don't you come on by and check in?
Sounds good.
I'll make sure there's something there as a thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Have we met this Nurse Joy?
You have.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's the one who took care of the
She's the one that killed
Exploud.
Exploud.
I gotta make sure they all are named Joy. They all look the same.
That is.
All kinds of ists.
That's joyous.
Hey, I'm gonna be a Joy.
Uh,
I am a Joy.
You are a joy. In fact, as she's going about her duties, manning the counter and dealing with a number of Pokemon that are coming in and the various trainers, she notes the two of you standing in the doorway, and she smiles and
Hi, Nurse
waves
Joy.
at you, and then she goes back to what she's doing.
She busy?
She is. Like I said, there's a number of people coming in and out at this point in time. Trainers, various people. You imagine some of them are more casual people, but they're coming in with their Pokemon for scrapes or whatever.
Yeah.
Should we touch in with the professor?
Probably. It's been a while.
Tell her about the Exploud?
Yeah, tell her about the Exploud. What else has happened? I mean, Sudowoodo would be
Yeah.
interesting. Ooh, actually, I'm gonna go over to the PC real quick.
Okay.
And I'm going to swap out Perp for Bella. Or Belle.
Bell is your Bonsly.
Bonsly. It feels weird not carrying one around, so I'll have Belle for a little bit.
Okay. You kind of slide your trainer card in, and the screen lights up. You click a couple icons on the screen. You put your Pokeball next to the little spout. It whirs and comes to life, sucks up your Pokeball, and it quickly replaces it with another one.
Perfect.
I'm keeping my current party for.
And since I'm already at the PC, do we just want to call her now?
Yeah, we might as well check in.
Sure, and I'll boop the PC and call Professor Lop.
Okay. The phone icon lights up on the screen, and it makes the spinning Pokeball shape that you know as loading. After a few seconds, you can hear a ringing dial tone, and then the screen comes to life with a familiar figure. A woman with thick-rimmed glasses, a messy bun. She looks a little frazzled, but sets herself down next to the computer and says, hello, who's... Oh, it's you two, it's...
Yeah, we feel bad that we don't call enough.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So you've got a one second. Douglas, can you bring me my clipboard? Thank you. And
Hi,
you see another
Dougie.
figure enter the frame, and you
Doogie.
Hi, Doogie.
see him sort of kneel down a little bit and look in the camera and
Hi.
grunts, and he waves, and you can see his eyes roll, and then he walks away.
We love you too.
She takes a clipboard from him, and she says, "Thank you, Douglas." And she flips a couple pages, pulls them off the clipboard, puts it on the desk beside her, and you can hear some papers fall on the ground. She goes, "Oh my, okay, yes, please tell me all about Ryolu and Bonsly. How are they coming along?"
Rylu's doing good. And I like lift him up.
Ryolu sort of looks in the screen and he puts his face almost right up to the screen, trying to understand this figure on the other side. And he goes, and she says,
Yeah.
oh wow, he's definitely put on some muscle. You guys have been working hard with him then.
Yeah, he's a good bud. He ties knots really well, we found out.
Oh, well, that's excellent, excellent. Very dexterous, I take it then.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And
I'm gonna
your
troll her
bonsai.
a little bit, and I'm gonna grab Belle and I'm gonna hold her up and be like, yeah, Bonsly has been a really good addition to the party.
She fixes her glasses a little bit and she really leans into the camera, squints.
Belle, meet Professor Larp, and Billy, come say hi.
She looks between the one and looks at the other and she says, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, that's, this is a new one that you've captured and, well, this must be the one that I gave to you back when you visited. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad to see that. Oh, well, he is a big boy, isn't he? Oh.
He's a big boy.
And Billy smiles and does a little dance.
He's got hands now.
He kind of does
You can high
jazz
five, and I'll
hands.
hold out a hand to high five him.
He reaches
Try to
out
make
and
this-
grabs your hand. Wraps
We're still
his
working
little
on it.
fingers. He says, "Oh, he's a doll. I have to say, I'm really happy to see that you guys are getting along with your Pokemon and further that they're growing and well, you guys are making excellent trainers. That's and she sort of wipes a bit of a tear and she says, that's not always the case, you know. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional here. I'm so happy to see your Pokemon growing and they look so healthy and you've taken to it wonderfully.
We actually wanted to tell you something kind of neat that happened that we thought you might find interesting.
Oh, please,
yeah.
please. I'm always up for interesting reports. What have you come across?
Well, we ran into a Exploud who had a baby, and we helped relocate them. But when we relocated them to this abandoned strip mine, and it had a bunch of Bonsly, which is where Belle came from.
Oh.
And yeah, they were making, what did you call them, Jackson? The things that they were making? Yeah.
Odd.
We took pictures, and then I like hold up the thing.
Again, she
The fucking-
squints and she looks in the camera and she says, "Oh, and those are on your personal Pokedexes. Here, one second."
Yeah.
You can see her sort of slide halfway across the lab. She skirts up to another computer and she starts clicking furiously. You see the screen light up. A number of screens go by, and then you can see your own screens on the Pokedexes with a little spinning icon at the top corner, and it says uploading. And she says, 1 minute, I'll be right back. I'm just adding these to my own database.
No worries. Yeah, there was like hundreds of them. Like hundreds of Anukshooks, not Bonslies.
Yeah, there was only, 6 Bonslies? 4 when we left?
Fantastic! That sounds wonderful. Very interesting.
And the mama Exploud and her baby, like the whole group of them almost formed this weird family. It was pretty cool.
She starts.
The Whismers seem to get along with them very well.
She starts sliding back towards the camera. She gets stuck about halfway as her lab coat gets stuck under one of the wheels, and she tries to pull it out. Meanwhile, seeing the camera and trying to shimmy closer to it. As she does so,
I pretend like I don't see.
this large two-headed bird comes out from behind her and starts shoving the chair closer to the camera. She goes, "Thank you, Dodo. Thank you." And she strains her glasses again, and you can see her clicking on the screen, and she's clearly reading something, though the camera's also in front of her eyes, and her eyes are scanning, and she says, "Oh, wow, these are marvelous. Oh, wow. Oh, I've never seen this behavior before. And these were Bonsly, you say that?
Yeah.
It's a bit more.
Does it mean something?
I Couldn't say for certain. This is extraordinary. Where did you say you saw these?
It's just a strip mine, just about a day and a half north of Haventown here.
Ooh.
We wanted
I'm sure
to make
if we
sure.
got a map, I could draw it out for you.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure the Mama Explode had a place to live where she wasn't going to be disturbed with her baby. So we kind of broke in, but we locked it all back up after we safely deposited her there.
She says, "Oh, yes. But you said you caught this Bonsly there, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And she
Yes, and
wheels back across the lab, and she starts clicking again. You see a number of more screens go by on the computer in the background that she seems to be scrolling through, and she says, this Bonsly you caught there, just making sure, right? I think I have a reading on where that was."
Yep, that's the one I caught there.
She wheels back and she says, yes, I can pinpoint exactly on the GPS where it was. In fact, this is, I'm going to send one of my aides up there just to maybe spend a little bit of time and observe this pattern of behavior. This is astounding.
I'm sure if you take out my Bonsly and give him some rocks, he'll probably do it.
Oh,
Yeah?
yes, I recently received that one as well. This was a few days ago then.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, absolutely.
Just make sure your aide is aware there's a Explode there that might be fairly defensive of her young Whismer.
Yeah.
So to be very careful.
Yes, thank you for the
Very,
warning. I
very
appreciate
careful.
that. I'll be sure to send an experienced one just in case. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. This will go far in research of this Pokemon's development. This is just nothing short of incredible. You have an excellent eye for this sort of stuff, and thank you for bringing it to my attention.
You're
Of
welcome.
course.
They found, and I don't know, maybe you can enlighten us a little bit, but Bonsly Billy evolved when he was there, and the other Bonslys behaved odd. Like, didn't they dance around him?
Yeah, they did dance around him.
Is that normal?
Were they just excited for him, or?
Hard to say. I mean, Bonsly are childlike in such a way. I'm sure you note.
Yes.
Friendly amongst their own, and under this circumstance, they found another Bonsly that, and they wouldn't be unfamiliar with Sudowoodos or their advanced evolution. I can imagine, yes, excitement, maybe surprise or joy.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
You know, kind of
And
like seeing
adorable.
an older sibling succeed.
Makes sense. Well, we'll keep an eye out for more interesting things.
And I would very much appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, also, before we go, there's a Houndour.
Yeah.
Houndour? Around these parts as
Houndour?
well.
She goes and she clicks over on her computer and wheels back, and she says, yes, a nocturnal species. They're quite common in that area, actually, houndours.
Oh. Okay, wasn't sure if that was an outlier.
Houndour? No, that's, I mean, they're small, and they can be real ruffians, you know, and you catch a pack of them, but
Oh,
not much.
I meant the Houndoom, not the Houndour.
Yeah, the
Oh.
bigger one.
Oh, the evolution, that's... Well, that is a little more troublesome. Did you let anybody know? Is there...
Not yet. You're the first person I think we've actually told about it.
We may have told Nurse Joy, but we don't remember because we were
Yeah.
really concerned about Explode.
Yeah, it seemed to have taken a bunch of the smaller Pokemon in the area and kind of almost was using them as, I want to say, bouncers?
It's horrible behavior. Okay. Well, something to look out for, I guess. But other trainers and whatnot, they're they're safe. It's not attacking people or anything like that. It's
Not yet. Not from what we've heard, at least.
Yeah, just kind
Just
of
the explode.
being a jerk to littler Pokemon.
yes. Usually Pokemon and they're around long enough to gain such experience or reach their higher evolutions. They're known for keeping out of trouble or keeping out of the way of human activity. People don't necessarily run into it. It's when they do or when they continue to be that, well, something needs to be done. Usually we have stronger trainers. I've got a few on speed dial, actually. I could see if anybody's in the area. I would be willing to look into that. But it sounds like maybe it's not an issue at this point in time.
Mama Explode and Jackson and I might have chased it off, but having
We're not
those
sure.
higher level trainers on
Standby.
standby would probably be a good idea. I know Jackson and I aren't really prepared for that right now, I don't think.
All right. Well, I'll make a note of it. I appreciate the heads up. Like I said, anything that you come across in the field, any interesting facts, any new Pokemon, we've taken a real shining to a number of the Pokemon that you've sent here. The aides have been working diligently to involve them in the various lab activities.
How's Ziggy? Does he let go of his trowel?
Oh, the peculiar Sagoon. No, some sort of deep-seated anxiety of sorts.
Yeah.
That's an unusual case. Quite an interesting Pokemon, honestly.
Yeah, I miss him. I wish I got to spend time with more of my Pokemon. But I'm training up Shuppet, so I'll get back to Ziggy.
She smiles.
Yeah, that seems to be the most difficult part so far, is just being and not being able to just have them all with us all the time.
Yeah.
She
I miss
fixes her
Dandy.
glasses. She says, I understand, but I'm sure you understand on a pure logistical standpoint, having all these Pokemon around with you would be a nightmare. I mean,
Yep.
we very much enjoy having them, but we have many, many aides and a good number of staff that tend to them.
Yeah, I just haven't got a real chance to get to know some of them.
Fair enough.
And
Yeah.
some of them that I've had even brief moments with, I miss.
We'll be sure to stop by the Pokemon Center more often and trade them out. I'm sure they would love to spend more time with you.
I'm
Of
sure
course.
they will.
I never gave Ladybug a nickname.
I think I gave everybody nicknames. I think. Yeah, I
Did
did.
I not give Igglybuff a nickname either? Oh no,
Matt, you're slipping.
I have been a bad. Who else? Rattata, I don't think has a nickname either. No.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
becoming a
I
nicknames.
definitely gave Caterpie and Cricketot and Bonsley nicknames when I caught them.
She smiles and you can see her writing her clipboard and putting off to the side, and she says, well, this has been a breath of fresh air. I'm so happy that you phoned. I really am. But I've got so much left waiting for me that I must get back to.
We understand. We gotta get some stuff done so we can go see the fireworks.
Yeah.
Oh, fireworks. Excellent. Well, I hope you have fun, and don't think that I've forgotten about your previous request. I will have an aide waiting for you in Brambletown when you get back there, and some important work for you. I think I have a case that might be, I think you would be good for, but he'll have more information on that, all right?
Okay.
Sure.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and enjoy the fireworks.
We will.
All right. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night. The minute she hangs up, I look at Jackson and I go, "What request?" What did we
I don't
request?
know. I can't remember what we requested. Wait, I think we might have requested phones.
I don't remember.
That's gonna be a point of stress now.
I forgot too.
Jackson takes 1 point of stress.
Let's see if the job board has anything going on with the market. I mean, the fair.
As all the Poké Centers more or less have the same layout, it's not difficult to find the job board. It's near the doors. It's a great big board. It is currently plastered over with a number of festival and carnival advertisements. Not jobs specifically, just advertisements.
I was
And you
so
can see similar
excited.
ones posted all around. You kind of dig under them to look for stuff, and there were a number of jobs, but all of the little applications and tear tabs have been taken. You definitely gather that given the large number of people that have been through here, there's not a lot of work available.
And not a single one of these says anything about needing help.
You do see an advertisement for what appears to be a Pokemon and Trainer three-legged race that is taking place in a couple hours.
Is there a prize?
There are cash prizes. First prize is 600 Pokeducks, plus a...
Polka dots? Are they
Polka
like
ducks.
Pokemon?
They're kind of like Magpies.
600 Magpies.
Okay.
Yeah.
A multi-tool, and a $200 Pokedonald's coupon. Second prize is 200 Pokebucks plus a $100 Pokedonald's coupon, and third prize is a $100 Pokedonald's coupon. You'll note that all of these flyers have a number of sponsors at the bottom, mostly local and small town businesses. The main sponsor for the Bloom Festival is Pokedonald's.
Of course it is.
I'm getting very suspicious about the Pokedonalds.
Yeah, just a little.
Ever since that we had that encounter with those weird people at the Pokedonalds in the back with the like little electric things that looked like Pichu only weren't Pichu, I find the whole thing
Yeah.
shady.
Yeah, same.
But I am interested in this three-legged race.
That sounds like it would be fun. And Billy has a leg now that I can do
He
it with.
does!
Or
Woo, woo, woo!
maybe this will be a bonding moment for me and Maui.
That would also work. Liam, you want to do a three-legged race?
He looks at you and his eyes light up. He's like,
Of course you do. Okay.
He's all fired up now.
And I'm gonna look at Maui and I'm gonna ask her the same thing. So, Maui, have you ever heard of three-leg before?
She's not looking at you. Currently, she is taking in everybody else in this area. Her maw is wide open, and she is daring anybody to come close. Like, she looks like she is on a hairpin trigger, ready to snap at anybody that comes within a couple feet.
Maybe this will have to be one between me and Billy.
She looks back at you like, what are we doing here? Who are all these people? And she looks back, and the giant maw is just...
It's okay. We're just in a. This is called a Pokemon Center. If you get hurt, we take you back here and they heal you.
Another person walks by just a little too close, and her jaw just goes... And the guy goes... "Huh!" Walks a little bit faster towards the door. And her jaw opens back up.
She'll get used to it. I just have to tell myself that.
And until then, she might just be a liability.
Yeah, maybe.
There's more than a few people who are looking at her. One guy kind of looks at you and scoffs a little bit.
Yeah, sure. This seems like a good enough time to use it. I'ma use my feature, my thing that I do, the deep connection.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that with Mawile again.
With Moa. Okay. Yeah, you really get in tune with your personal connection, you and this Pokemon. The amount of time that you've spent with her, reading her inflections, the way she holds herself, her just general body language and the way that she looks at you, interpreted specifically as language.
So, Maui, this place is safe. You don't have to worry about the people here.
She turns to you and she says, "You keep calling me that."
Do you not like it?
It's fine.
Okay.
So angry.
Continues to look
I
around.
just-
She says, "If anyone gets too close,
If you
tear
hurt
them to
somebody,
shreds."
no, don't do that, please. if you hurt somebody, I don't think any of us are gonna have a very good time.
Looks back.
These
at you.
people don't mean you any harm. They're here helping their Pokemon as well.
I dare them to get too close. Dare them.
Mary, if you don't behave, you'll have to go back in the Pokeball for a bit, and I prefer not to do that. I just want to make sure nobody gets hurt, including you.
She looks back at you, and her eyes are just daggers. She says, "You threaten me."
It's not a threat, it's just an ultimatum. I know it's not the greatest way to put it, but I have to make sure that these people don't get hurt, and that you don't hurt those people, and that they in turn hurt you.
How do I know they don't want to hurt me?
Well, just let your guard down a little bit and let some people get up to you.
What do they want?
Nothing. If chances are, if they come up to you, they're just passing by.
Why are they here? Where are we?
This is called a Pokemon Center. This is a place where we heal Pokemon who are injured. And these people are here to help their Pokemon that have been injured.
I see.
So no one in here has any ill intent for you.
Who's
They just
injuring
want what's best
Pokemon?
for theirs. The people aren't injuring Pokemon. I guess it's technically other Pokemon. You've been in at least one battle before, when you hurt me and we had to retaliate in self-defense.
Yes.
So that happens every now and then. There are these places called gyms, where trainers like myself and Brooke will go to prove our worth as trainers and prove our Pokemon are strong and capable of taking care of themselves. And every now and then, the Pokemon gets hurt while they're there. You take place in a Pokemon battle.
That's what you
and then
intend
bring
me
them
to
back
do?
here. Not if you don't want to.
Looks at all the other people. Says, I would win.
I'm sure you would.
Eyes them all up. Dare them to get too close.
Please don't hurt anybody, Moana. What? Oh, Mary.
What the fuck?
So I don't know if you heard that, Matt.
I did.
Pressed it.
That was kind of the perfect one to hit, too. All I heard was the what the fuck.
Salvador pressed the button. It wasn't me.
God.
That was you. Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. We're sorry. But you'll see, Mary. None of these people in this building have any ill intent for you outside of those battles. But those battles won't happen unless me and that trainer approach each other and agree to do it. That's the only context you have to worry about getting hurt.
Roll a Pokemon handling check.
Perfect. What dice am I gonna try? You know what? That's not a bad first friggin' roll. What is my modifier? It's a +4, so that's an 18.
An 18.
Nice.
She lowers her guard a bit. Her maw doesn't entirely close, but it drops. It's not in this aggressive, defensive sort of posture that it was before. And she turns back to you, and for the first time turns her back almost entirely to the rest of the people around her. She says, fine. They start something, I'll finish it.
And if they start something, I'll have your back.
He looks up at you, almost questioning. Then looks back at the people and just watches them.
Thank you, Mary. I hope one day they can earn your trust, and I hope one day I can.
She doesn't acknowledge you.
That's fair.
three-legged race?
Liam's already like trying to figure out how to three-legged race. You can see him on the ground. He's got 2 legs on the ground and 1 leg, or his other front paw like on the ground, and he's almost like crawling, but his one arm is behind his back.
Can you do a push-up?
Starts doing push-ups, and he looks up at you.
Good job. It's a little different than that. We're gonna be tied together. Yeah. It'll be your leg, then our leg together, and then my leg. 3 legs.
You can see him like trying to count the legs. And like holds up his paw, but his paw's only got like 3 little fingers.
It's because your 2 legs and my 2 legs become 3 legs. This one, and that one.
Puts his 2 paws together. Trying to like imagine it, and you can see the gears moving inside his head. But you can tell like he looks up at you, still very confused.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. But it's a fun thing you do when you're kids. And we could win Pokebucks.
Nods.
But it's okay if we don't win.
He shakes his head like, how dare you?
It's
No, it's
never
not.
okay. Do you know me?
It's more important that we have fun together. Come on. We're still winners if we have fun. Then I'm gonna scoop him up and I'm gonna run to the 3-legged race.
Okay, you run out the door. Jackson, what are you doing?
I'm gonna saunter up to Billy.
Okay. He's kind of
And I'm
taking
going-
everything in. He's been going around slowly while you guys have been having these conversations and like leaning over people who have been sitting down and just kind of almost like saying hi to everybody. Whoa, 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 and then moves on to the next person. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Hey Billy,
He looks
how do
back
you
at
feel
you.
about a 3-legged race?
He stands on one leg and he shakes his other foot and he falls backwards. Whoa!
Oh, this is gonna go so well.
Whoa! He slowly picks himself up and shakes his head and he looks at you. Whoa, 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 whoa!
Well, I suppose we should make our way over there now.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
And I'll follow after Brooke, holding Belle, walking beside Billy and Maui.
They each follow you out. Maui about a couple steps behind you. Billy trying to keep step with you. And the other Bonsly in your arms, who is just taking everything in wide-eyed. You can see her
Heck yeah.
eyes are starting to sort of leak down the side of her face, and your sleeve is starting to get wet.
Her eyes are leaking down the side of her face.
Yeah.
She's crying.
When you
Not like literally her eyeballs.
Yeah. It's not like her eyes popped and it's a horror movie.
They are melting.
I mean,
out of
that's
her
the
face.
image Steven painted.
It's like Raiders of the Lost Ark in here.
Yeah. Okay. I think I have better fair music for this.
Hmm.
Let's see. This one.
No more pressing buttons, Salve.
I don't know if that's the right one.
As,
What about
as
this one?
comedic as it was, you broke the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's more playful. Okay, you guys walk down the street, and again, it's elbow to elbow here. Plenty of people going around. As you do so, you're stopped pretty quickly by a person in a yellow t-shirt. Their t-shirt reads, Haventown, Bloom Festival Committee. She's got a number of flower wreaths on her arms, and she stops you and she says, "Here, a flower wreath for you, for the festival."
Thank you.
And she puts one over
Thank
your
you
head,
very
and she
much.
puts one over Jackson's head, and then she puts one, a smaller one, over Liam's head, and a smaller one over your Mawil's head. She is like super defensive, and the volunteer hesitates for a moment, but slowly drops it over her head, and the Mawile accepts
Perfect.
it. And then she grabs another larger one and drapes it over Billy's head, and it mostly just like floats down his trunk of a body and hangs over top of his shoulders. And he looks at it and admires it and goes, "Whoa, whoa."
And
Super sick.
you look like the belle of the ball, Belle.
He looks up at you and she's crying even more.
Can you tell us where the three-legged race is about to start?
Oh, yes, of course. Over that way. There's a bit of a crowd forming. I believe it's still an hour and a bit off, though. But you're more than welcome to register. I'm sure they'll take you at any time.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Start heading over there.
And the volunteer turns and she starts putting lays on other people as they walk by. The flower wreaths that you guys were given are fresh cut flowers. They are very aromatic. And yeah, they're absolutely 100% real.
Nice. That's kind of a fun little thing they're doing.
That is. Dennis must be making a killing off of this.
Oh, probably. Oh,
You good?
I dropped my paper.
Tons of people going about. You can see excited children holding stuffed Pokemon. You can see people with flowers of all sorts decorating them. You can see one woman, she's got a dress made entirely of flowers, and she's greeting people and taking pictures with other people. There's families out and about. There seems to be a couple. A boy pulls a flower out from under his vest and hands it to the girl, and she smiles and gives him a kiss. There's also a number of booths. You can hear a
What
guy
kind of
yell
flower?
over. Sorry?
What kind of flower was it?
It was a rose.
Perfect.
I'll need to learn more flower names, I think.
That was my bad. Already fell. That was my bad. I scared him. I gave him a spoon, and then he couldn't come back from the.
Dog got scared.
Oh, poor Sally boy.
My fault.
You hear a voice calling out to you from a table nearby. Man yells, "Hey, you two! You want to play a game? I got a hell of a game for you. Here, come on, everybody's a winner. Come on, come give it a try. It's only 10 Pokebucks."
What's the game?
You look over and you see an elaborate display. In the center of this are a number of bottles that are lined up in various rings.
Oh god damn, this one.
And there are various colors on top of each of the bottles. There are there's blue bottles. They seem to be the most numerous. There are yellow. They seem to be a bit further away from where you would be standing on the other side of the stall. And there's a good number less of them. And then there is one purple one that seems to be further back and surrounded by a number of other blue ones. So probably the most difficult target to hit in total. He pulls out a number of rings and he holds them out to you and he says, "Here, why don't you give her a go? It's only 10 Pokebucks, you know? What do you got to lose?"
Do we have to do it or can our Pokemon do it?
No, this is for you specifically. Why not? You can win
Sure.
your little granddaughter there a stuffed toy, or he starts going over and he says a jar of local honey, or even a nest ball. You look like Pokemon trainers
I'll bite.
yourselves.
I'll give you the 10 Pokebucks and I'll give her a try.
Alrighty. He takes it from you and he hands you one ring and he says, "There you go. Just take aim and throw away. You got this. You must have a
Perfect.
lifetime of experience. You're a winner, I can tell."
Oh, we'll find out shortly. Which one was the one that was furthest away again?
The purple one.
The purple? I'm gonna aim for the purple one.
Awesome. Give me a straight dex check.
Oh, hell yeah, this is gonna go so well. Holy, okay, that's 17 minus 2, so 15.
15. The The ring flies. You can see it bounce off your target, not landing anywhere near it. It sort of bounces a little bit amongst the rest of the colorful bottles there, and it comes to rest on a blue one. And the man says, "Oh, I know how to pick them. You know, I've been doing this a lot of years, and boy, do I know how to pick them. Here you go. A nice little stuffed polka doll for you, and, you know, maybe for your granddaughter there. But you know what? You were real close. I bet you had another 10 Pokebucks, and you got her. I bet you could take home the prize. How about it? What do you say, mister?"
I
The
think I'm good with just
Pokedoll
polka
he
doll.
handed you looked like it's like this green bulb with the smiley face on it. It's a Pokemon that you may not be familiar with.
Probably not. What is this polka doll of? I don't think I've ever seen this one before.
Oh, it's a local town favorite. It's Badoo.
Badoo?
Badoo.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for the game. It was fun. I think we'll move on to the next, unless you want to give it a try, Brooke.
I'm okay. I know.
Oh, come on
my
now.
Skills,
I see the
and
spirit
they're
of a
not
winner in you.
here.
I can't believe you would toss up this opportunity. $10 is a steal for what you could have here. And the fun you have and the stories you could tell your friends when you get back home, I tell you, it's a gosh darn good price for only $10. Come on, little lady. I see the spark in your eye. You're a
I'm
known winner.
okay. I would pay the 10 if you let Raiola do it.
I'm sorry. This is for people only.
Then I'm sorry, because he's the go-getter, not me. I like hustle away with Raiola.
Okay.
And I'll hustle after.
As you guys leave that place, immediately coming up into the next little area here, you see a number of people who are gathered together in a very specific crowd pointing towards what appears to be a stage. This stage is set up right outside of the Pokédonald's. And you see a young woman walk up onto the stage. A bunch of people cheer. This woman's wearing another committee volunteer shirt. And she goes up to the mic and she adjusts it a little bit and holds it to her mouth, and there's this large screeching noise that comes from the speakers, and everybody covers their ears, and then she goes, "Oh, sorry, it is my honor to introduce, it's, you know, this person. He doesn't really require any sort of introduction. A man that you have all seen on television, the CEO and founder of Pokédonald's, and our top sponsor here today at the Bloom Festival. Can you all give your warmest welcome to Winnie Knight?" Yeah. And she starts clapping, and the crowd all starts clapping.
I do not clap.
You do not clap.
I do not trust the McDonald's.
You don't trust the Pokédonald's?
I don't trust Pokédonald's.
Don't trust
Not
the
since
large
that
corporate
shady
entity.
encounter in their back.
At this point in time, you notice a number of other people who are off along the side of the building, two of which who step away. A man with silvery black pepper hair, a slight mustache. He's got a bit of a gut, but he's well dressed in a white, gray tailored suit. His tie is a yellow and red polka dot. Stands out, a bit vivacious. He's got a great smile, and he waves to everybody as he steps up onto the stage. Behind him is this Pokemon, as tall as he is. So standing about 6 foot, a little bit taller than that. Very large, girth-wise. This pink curly Q sort of tail coming out the end, and it is done up in clown makeup. It looks over at the rest of the crowd, and it sticks out its massive long tongue that just seems to keep unfolding from its mouth. It goes, and everybody cheers. And Winnie steps up to the microphone, and he holds it very confidently. And he says, "Yes, thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome here in Haventown. I am very excited to be able to offer our financial support in this annual event. It is my greatest honor. And I would also like to thank the fantastic committee who put this clearly successful event on this year. Yes, please give them a round of applause.
Yay.
And everybody
Yay.
cheers and hoots and hollers. And he says, yes, well, as you all know, I, Winnie Knight, am here representing my true dream, the choice for fast food here in Wundoro, Pokédonald's. And, of course, celebrating the release of our new filet-like fish burger, now in
Ooh.
stores. You can find it exclusively at Pokédonald's restaurants, and right here today, as of today. We are very excited to share this with you, and, you know, this is a once-in-a-lifetime, limited opportunity sort of event. You see, our product, we are so proud of it, and we believe that you will be too. One bite and you will absolutely be hooked. We have taken every cost to ensure that we provided the best in animal Pokemon alternative products here with you. And we were so sure of this that you here would not tell the difference between what would be real fish and our burger, that we had it tested in labs. And I'll assure you that scientists on a molecular level could not tell the difference between our patented formula and real fish. Yes, and he
Jackson,
claps.
don't you find that a little concerning?
And everybody else in the crowd.
Just using real fish.
And everybody else in the crowd also claps and they cheer. And he says, delectable. And we are so certain that you will enjoy this. And in celebration of the Bloom Festival, for today only, with your purchase of a filet-like fish burger meal, you will also receive a free fry and drink. Yes, thanks to the generosity of Pokédonald's. That is your offer for today only. And of course, everything around here, the various events, you can find coupons and whatnot supplied by Pokédonald's for your enjoyment. And I do hope that you enjoy it yourself. Thank you. I must be off, but I will be taking some questions just over there. And he points. Says, I'd love to shake your hand, meet the various patrons of my restaurant, and thank you. Thank you all. And enjoy your time. Thank you. And he leaves to another applause. Woo! Seems the crowd is very taken by this figure.
I'm more than a little concerned about the fact that on a molecular level it was still fish.
What's a fish?
I think it's a, like, you know how, like, certain Pokemon might be referred as, like, canine?
I suppose?
Maybe fish is, like, a overarching term for, like, that.
So did we just confirm that people eat Pokemon? If you're saying that it tastes just like fish.
I don't know.
You did confirm earlier that people do eat Pokemon in at least other parts of the world,
That is true.
but it is
Yeah.
not allowed here in Wundoro. It is outlawed.
Outlawed in Wundoro. Do they eat them in Brava?
I think we noted no.
I wonder.
Was he talking about taste tests before? And how it tastes just like real fish?
He might have been. Which would imply he's eaten fish before.
Which would imply that he's eaten Pokemon before.
Yep. Would I know what he means when he refers to fish?
Yeah, the same way that there's certain groupings of Pokemon that would be bear-like or whatever, right? There's general descriptors
Canine. Yeah.
that group like Pokemon. Fish
So I
would be
understand it's a
yeah.
water type Pokemon.
yeah, water type, fins, gills. They don't typically live on the land. Though there are some fish-like Pokemon that do more so than others.
I'm just curious as to why that would be sought after.
Yeah. Slightly concerned. Yeah. I don't think I like Pokedonalds anymore, if I ever liked it to begin with.
It was more just one of those convenient meals you could grab every now and then.
Yeah.
Never really go out of your way to go there, sort of thing.
I kind of question their business after everything. All the more reason one of us needs to win the three-legged race and take their money from them.
Yep. Rah, rah, fight the power.
Rah, rah! I say we head over and we get registered and keep an eye out for any booths that might have advertisements of needing assistance.
Sure.
I'm gonna look around while we walk over.
There are a number of booths here. Most of them similar, like different variations on the same game. So a game that you played already. There's also a few other games that are here. Each, again, it's 10 Pokebucks per play. But there are two other games that you would be familiar with in some respect. One is the Squirtle water gun game. It is a competitive game between yourself and other contestants in a race to see who can fill up a water jug across. It seems to be a game that takes some sort of endurance to do. You spin a crank and it cranks water out and shoots it across the way to fill up this pail. Another one is a milk bottle pyramid. So a number of old-timey glass milk bottles filled with some sort of white liquid that are stacked in a pyramid shape that you buy balls to throw at with the aim of knocking them down.
How many balls do you get?
For $10, you get 3 balls. And there are 6
Wouldn't
bottles
mind giving
total.
them both a try.
What are their prizes?
So, at the Squirtle water gun game, their notes. First prize is. First place is this novelty fishing rod. It's kind of fancy and plasticky in certain parts, bright yellow with a Pokeball lure on the end, but by all means a functional fishing rod. Second place is a replica Squirtle water gun. So it's a little handheld water gun in the shape of a Squirtle. You hold onto its tail and there's a little trigger under its belly and it shoots water out of its mouth.
Okay.
And in first place is another very similar Pokemon stuffed doll, similar to the Badoo. At the milk bottle pyramid, third prize is, so knocking over 3 bottles, you again win a Pokemon stuffed doll. Knocking over 5 is a I believe it's a Hoenn specialty. They're called lava cookies. They have specific sort of healing properties. They're delicious as well. And 6th is a Badoo. An actual live living Badoo.
No, babe,
Oh.
you're on a track to bad news.
Hey, Salvador, what you doing? He's gonna sit there.
He's just gonna
trying to tell
chill.
you. The minute he realized he was in a bad place, he went, "Oh no." I'd be willing to try one of these ones, maybe.
I'd be willing to try both of them. Might as well. Kind
Uh,
of cool to win a Pokemon.
water gun? What?
Sure, do that one first and see.
Sure. Let's do the water gun one.
You guys step up, and there is a woman behind the thing. She's got a top hat on and a little cane, and she points at each of you, and she says, step right up, step right up. Yes, you two, are you our next contenders? You got $10?
Sure are.
Excellent. Here's your seats right here. You can sit there, and you can sit there, and she points at 2 empty seats. In front of 2 empty guns. There's another small child who is sitting next to another one who sees the two of you and kind of eyes the two of you up. And she says, just a moment, we'll have a couple more contestants. We need 5 to play. You guys wait a couple more minutes, and slowly a couple other people fill into the other squares.
Perfect.
As you guys are sitting there, the water is currently turned off, and the woman encourages you to try your hand at the crank. And just kind of get the mechanics. The water guns themselves are set. They are stable. So there's no aiming involved. It is pointing directly at what appears to be a polywhirl at the other
This
end.
is how hard you can crank.
Yeah. And the idea would be that you crank it for as long as you can to keep a consistent flow to hit the target, which is in the center of the polywhirl's stomach, to fill a water tank that's behind it. The first person to fill that tank, and second and third place win prizes.
Okay.
So, as the other 2 people sit down and she explains the rules to them and get them familiar with the mechanics, she looks over to you other 2 individuals and she says, all right, is everybody ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
All right. She says, all right, I'm turning on the water now. And as she does so, a little bit of water trickles out the mouth of the Squirtles. And she says, on the count of 3, 3, 2, 1, go! Can I get each of you to give me a Constitution check?
That's a 4.
17.
Okay. Jackson, you start cranking and cranking and cranking and cranking. You're going really hard at first, and Billy is standing behind you going, woo, 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 woo,
I got
woo."
this, Billy.
He's super excited. But the longer that you go, the quicker you start to tire. You look across, and there's this small child who's maybe 5 years old, and he's just giving her, totally beating the crap out of you at this moment in time. Brooke, you've got tons of energy. Like you are going. At this point in time, as each one of you are filling up this tank on the other side, Jackson, your water spout starts to recede. At this point in time, you're not even cranking fast enough to hit the target on the other side. The little boy is still going strong, and in this fact, him and Brooke are both neck and neck, both of them clearly leading at this point in time. One of the other guys is, again, starting to lose steam. He's not even hitting the target anymore. Another person is gradually filling it up, but it's not at the same steady flow that Brooke and this other individual are. At this point in time, it is the small child and Brooke still going at it. And this kid, you can see, is starting to wear. He's starting to sweat. And Brooke is still going strong. There's a point in time when this kid stutters for a second, and then he just leans his whole body into it, stands up on the stool, and cranks even harder. After getting the second win, Brooke, you lose steam, and he hits the top of the barrel first.
Come on.
The woman comes out and she says, wow, that's excellent job, little dude. All right, here you go. And pulls down this novelty fishing rod and hands it to him. And this little boy looks so proud of himself. And he looks over at the two of you.
Good
and
job,
he starts crying and he runs off into the crowd. The woman comes over to you, Brooke, and she hands you this little novelty squirt gun. It's in a little plastic bag. And she says, here you go. Good luck. You're more than welcome to try again if you'd like. And she goes over to one of the other guys and she gives him a stuffed doll. The guy turns around and gives it to a girl who's standing behind him, and she gives him a kiss, and then they wander away. And she turns to Jackson and the other individual, and she says, "Oh, tough break, but you were so close. I mean, oh, you know what? Another $10, and I bet you'd have her."
Maybe in a little bit.
Yeah,
Are
we'll
you
make a bet.
sure?
We still have plenty of time tonight, right?
Exactly. We gotta go try the other one, and then the three-legged race. So we'll be back.
All right. Well, have it your way. I'm here all night. Feel free to come back. You guys wander down the way, and you come up to another booth that has this milk bottle pyramid set up. You see this guy behind it. He's got this scruffy beard. He looks generally unkempt, and he kind of leans over the edge, and he says, "Hey, you looking to play some games, huh?"
Sure are.
I see. Well, you better pack up and go home, because I don't think the likes of you can beat this one. This is
Okay.
a
We're
real
about to find
expert game, you know.
I'm sure it is, sir.
Mm-hmm. What, you're still here, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that'll be $10 each to play, but don't be surprised if you lose, you know. This is a real tough one, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's because you got it rigged in the back, don't ya?
Absolutely not. All our games are 100% on the... They're good.
Can I insight check him?
Sure.
Oh yeah, it's bad. It's a 3.
Oh, this shifty character seems on the level.
Well, I
let's
think we're
see
gonna
if we
try
get lucky.
anyway.
Sorry, what was that, Jackson?
So let's see if we get lucky.
All right, and he takes your money, and he gives 3 balls to yourself, Brooke, and he gives 3 balls to Jackson. And he steps back and he says, "Take your best shot there."
You trying to sound like Jack Nicholson?
I don't know.
It's like Carney Jack Nicholson. Okay, whoever wants to go first, can you give me a straight strength check?
Oh God.
17.
Big dice.
17. Okay, you throw your first ball, and it knocks over 1 bottle. It bounces off of it, and you get the sensation that though it looks like they're filled with milk or some other white liquid, whatever's inside is solid. Probably plaster. And they're pretty damn heavy. But you do knock over 1 bottle. You have 2 balls left. And he says, "Ooh, nice shot. You know, good for a beginner."
18.
Okay, another solid hit. And you knock over 1 more bottle. The man actually looks a little surprised, and he says, "Wow, you know better than I thought, but you're gonna have to work on that arm if you're gonna want to win anything."
Because they're totally not weighed down with plaster. And then I throw a 3rd one. That was a natural 1.
Natural 1.
So a 3.
That one hits the
other
guy,
2.
and it like bounces off his chest, and he
I'm
like
cool with that.
he holds his nipple, and he goes, "Oh, you don't get your money back if you hit me, you know. Okay. All right. How about you, old man?
Sure, I'll give it a try. Big
You're gonna
dice
have
will
to
fill
do
me
a
out.
little bit better if you want to win a prize, though."
That's a 15.
15.
Wait.
Yeah.
18
So
minus 3.
it's not a great throw, but you do hit the pile. You knock sort of the center of balance off a little bit, and the very topmost bottle falls over. He looks
Perfect.
surprised as he's setting back up the 2 bottles that Brooke knocked over. And he says, "All right, then. Okay. Let's see what you got, old man."
Okay, big dice don't fail me again. That's 16, 19 minus 3.
Wow, okay. This time you hit another bottle squarely, and it tips over. You hit the top of the rim, and it goes, and it falls over. And the man looks surprised. And he says, "Wow, okay. One more, and you get to take home one of these nice little Poké dolls."
Perfect. Okay, keep going on trend, die. Keep going on trend. It fucking did. That's a nat 20.
A natural 20. So what is that total?
That's 17 total.
17 total.
modified.
Okay. You
God
knock over 3 more for a total of 5. Yeah, you absolutely nail it right in the center, and 3 of the bottles clamber over neatly, leaving another one standing there. But the man is taken off guard for a second. He says, "Why, you must have been a pitcher in your youth. All right. Yeah, you win yourself a lava cookie. Very good. Here you go." And he pulls out this cello-wrapped, tied with a bow package with this one big, it's like palm-sized and fairly flat, charcoal-colored cookie. And he hands it to you. And he says, "There you go. A man like you with an arm like that, another go, and I bet you can knock all 6 of them down."
Nope, I think I got amazingly lucky.
Well,
I think the dice gods had my back.
I bet your luck could hold up. Your granddaughter, though, hopeless, I have to say.
Yeah, my trophies at home would certainly say the same thing.
Sounds like you got something to prove.
No, not to you.
Well, I guess I'll keep my prizes then.
For now, we might come back later.
Walk away. Jackson, that was impressive, considering he had them all weighed down with plaster.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Also, my freaking hand hurts from rolling that dice. Like, legit, jiggling it around in my hand was like, ow, 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 ow.
Solid.
That was good. That was
Yeah.
good.
Okay,
Thanks,
you guys have spent a little bit of time wading through the crowds at this point, taking in the people who are blowing balloons and the popcorn stands, and there's a couple different stages with music going on. Ferris wheel in the distance, some spinning teacups. The rides or midway sort of section of this fair isn't terribly impressive. It's just a couple real ragtag sort of things. Even the Ferris wheel isn't massive, but would be fun. And you see a section. It seems to be taped off around what is the town's Pokemon field. There is a table there, a number of contestants, and a woman who is taking names. This appears to be the location where they noted the 3-legged race.
Perfect. So just go up and register now?
Yeah, let's go get ourselves signed up.
Okay. You walk up, and the woman quickly takes your name down. She takes it underneath what appears to be 500 individuals. You can tell on her sheet it's broken down into various different heats. They're running a number of different races here. It's just a fun whatever. It's not like you're competing to go on to finals or anything like that. You just compete against the people that you're paired with and go from there. She wishes you all the best of luck in her best southern drawl. And she points you off to another area where another volunteer in a yellow shirt is handing out pieces of cloth to different people with their Pokemon and preparing them for this race. Amongst the people, you see what appears to be a father-son combo. The father is maybe in his 40s. He's got this blue salamander-looking Pokemon that stands bipedally, comes up to his chest, fairly wide and girthy. It's got this just obnoxious smile on its face and these little pinprick-like eyes. His son, wearing a backwards ball cap, baggy clothes, looks to be maybe in the neighborhood of 8 years old. Has another Pokemon who looks very similar to his father's, but much smaller. This Pokemon again is blue. It doesn't have any arms though. 2 small feet, a small tail, and these almost like satellite dishes or antennae coming off the sides of its head. And it smiles. There is also another youngerish boy, maybe 12, a younger girl, maybe in and around that age as well. The boy seems to have an Oddish, Pokemon that you guys have seen before, blue with little fern coming out the top of its head. The girl has this very excitable pig monkey looking Pokemon. It's snorting and kind of jumping around. She's doing her best to calm it down and tie the knot around her leg and its leg, but it keeps bouncing away, and she's just laughing, and it seems to think it's a game. And then the last individual you see is a figure that you guys recognize.
Is it Lars?
No, this is a boy younger than Lars. You met him once, very briefly, when you guys went to the Brambletown Pokemon gym for the first time. Kind of bumped into him. He's got a backwards baseball cap on, a suit jacket and tie that is tied
The
loosely.
one that gave me an autograph.
His suit pants are cut to be shorts, and beside him he has this very cocky-looking Meowth. And there is another gentleman next to him, adult, who is tying the ribbon around his leg and the Meowth's leg.
Jackson, I think we know that one.
Yeah, I think we do too.
As
I feel
the
like
ribbon,
I want to avoid talking to him right now, though.
I agree.
as the ribbon is tied around this kid's leg and around the Meowth's leg, he stands up and he starts eyeing up the other contestants around him and gives a little bit of a shrug, and he looks back to the man who's accompanying him and he goes, "Not much competition." And then he catches sight of Brooke and he says, "Wait right here for a minute."
Oh no.
He starts walking over towards you, and the Meowth misses that they're walking forward for a moment and gets dragged about a foot before it starts catching up. And they walk in step towards you. And
Do they look at all competent?
fairly so. Yeah,
Damn.
I would say so.
No.
The boy walks right up to Brooke, and he stops in front, and he pulls down his shades, and his eyes meet yours, and he winks, and he says, "Following me now, are ya?"
I purposefully oh, sorry. I just caught the vomit in my mouth. No, we're not.
Okay, you don't have to play coy.
Oh, you're disturbing.
I understand. You know, it's normal for a guy like me to have groupies on his rise to fame, you see.
No, sorry. I don't. I don't even know your name.
It's Indigo. And he reaches out and takes your hand and he gives it a little kiss.
My boyfriend would kick your ass.
Says, "Your boyfriend?"
Yes.
And he looks around for a second, a little nervous. He straightens his tie and he says, "I'd like to see him try."
Okay. Or I'll freeze that. I'll kick your ass if you don't leave me alone.
Looks at you and he says, "Confidence. I like that in a woman."
Oh, God.
Grandpa!
Yes, Brooke?
Would you care to educate this young man that I'm not a piece of meat?
Says, No, not meat. I take you for better than that. A human girl with fine features, and
Oh, God.
excellent mind, you know.
Do you say milady a lot?
I don't know what you mean.
You seem the type. Anyways, let's just go prepare, I guess. Get Ryolu all prepped and get Billy all prepped.
I like that idea.
He turns his head upwards and looks at you over the top of his glasses. And he says, "So I guess we're competing. See you on the field."
Yep.
Sort of waves to you, and he looks over to the other girl who's standing there, who's a couple years older than him, and he goes, "Hey." And he keeps walking.
Oh, he's repulsive. Jackson, please tell me that all men are not like that.
Not all men are like that. Well, how old does that kid look?
10.
Like a similar age? Oh, God. So, even worse.
Yeah.
He's
He
literally
can learn,
10 years
but he
old.
just won't.
Did they grow out of it? Not
I
him
think
specifically.
so.
Oh.
Most of the time, from what I've seen. But then again, I just have my own experience. Hope to God it wasn't like that anyways.
Oh, this is a time where I miss having my 2 big brothers with me. As
Yeah, I'm not exactly the brawniest.
big, imposing figures. Let's go get ready. Do we have a thingy to tie?
You do. You were given those at the start. So, as you guys start tying your things, volunteers actually come by and they offer to help you. Each one of them sort of bending down. They're like, "Oh no, please, here, let me help you. Here, I've tied these all day. It's fine. Here." And ties a little knot for each of you, tying you securely to Liam, Brooke, and Jackson, you to Billy.
This is gonna go so well with the clumsy boy.
Disadvantage for clumsiness.
Oh God, we'll find out.
I'm kidding.
Then a small group of volunteers come over and they start gathering you all to the edge. One of the men says, "Okay, we're gonna start here right away. I need each of you to line up here against the line. Pretty easy. I'm sure you've all been in a 3-legged race before. The goal is to beat your opponents, make it the 200 feet. First one across the finish line wins. There are first, second, and third prizes. Are there any questions?"
Nope.
No? All right. Yeah, at the sound of the starting pistol, you are good to go.
Do we get a second to practice?
I mean, you got like 2 minutes.
Okay, I start giving Liam instructions about how, like, he's smaller than me, so he should use his, like, one arm that's closest to my leg to kind of, like, hold on to my leg to help him, like, set in the right balance motion so we're not, like, fumbly-bumbly around. And we practiced walking.
And I'm gonna give
And then
Billy
picking up
similar
this pace.
instructions.
Yeah.
But with me having my arm like around his back and him having his arm around mine.
Okay. Both of them
And
are.
then doing the whole like 1, 2,
Yeah.
1, 2.
It's weird, specifically because Brooke, Liam is so much smaller than you.
Yes.
So when you move your leg, you're almost picking him up and throwing him. And you guys have to find this rhythm where you move your leg just like a small enough. It's more like a shimmy for you that he's actually taking a step and you're not like dragging each other or falling over. Jackson, it's similar, but only because Sudowoodo's legs are so short. So you step too far and he fully extends his leg and his weight just carries you whoop forward onto your face.
Okay. Let's take smaller steps. I mean, you take big steps, I'll take smaller steps. And just keep practicing.
Okay. Some of the other contestants take what is essentially cues from you guys and start doing similarly. At this point in time, again, the volunteer comes back. He says, all right, yeah, we gotta get started here. We're a little bit behind schedule now, so back behind the starting line, and yeah, we'll get the pistol here.
Perfect.
As he's doing this, a number of other people are starting to gather. A little bit of a crowd, just a casual crowd. This isn't the same sort of crowd that was outside the Pokedonald's when you guys were doing your thing.
Salvi found my foot. and used it as a pillow.
And as you guys are preparing for that, I feel like this is probably a good time to take a quick intermission.
Perfect. I'm very glad none of my dice have horrendously betrayed me tonight. I mean, I got like a 4 at one point, but other than that, it's been good.
I got a natural one,
So,
but I'm not mad
yeah,
at
I
it
was
because I
gonna-
pegged that guy in the chest.
Yeah, I think my natural one is coming.
Right in the nip. Okay, I'm gonna grab a drink real quick.
Can you get me a caffeinated beverage?
A caffeinated beverage.
Yes, but not the root beer. 'Cause I know
Anybody
the
out
root
there
beer
in the
is-
internet world?
Not that
Feel
I
free
can
to
tell.
fill the void with conversation.
Yeah, no, nothing yet.
I've decided that futons are just not comfortable
Yeah.
seating.
Futons are comfortable, but only pretty much as something that you can lie down on, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Sitting on them is not fun.
Like, no matter how well constructed, that specifically has no caffeine. I said anything but. Yeah, I just don't think there's any way to make them comfortable.
Yeah, I don't think so. The most that you can do is like, I think maybe something for back support if you have pillows right behind you, but even then,
Yeah, that's what I do. I got like 2 of them right now.
nice. Ugh.
So how you doing over there in quarantine land?
Still working from
Trying
home.
not to go crazy. Yeah, still working from home.
Do you enjoy working from home?
Yes and no. Like it's nice to be home and to be able to like make my own lunch or work out over lunch or do something more productive during my lunch break. It's not so nice not being around people and having to work on a VPN that is way slower than just being at my work computer.
Right.
But other than that, it's all right. It sucks on Mondays because my bed is right behind my setup, so I get very tempted to just take a nap.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
What about you? How have you been doing in isolation?
Well, end of this week will be my 4th week. First 2 weeks were really hard. I think I'm getting into more of like a okay, most of the stuff that I was worried about has like come to some form of a conclusion.
Yeah.
Because right when I got told I was going off work, I had like house stuff still up in the air with my mom. I had my Heroes Forge order having not been delivered, and no one from the place would get back to me from UPS. And so there was just like a number of balls that were just up in the air waiting to come down. So I was just, and now I don't have as much of that, but the uncertainty of knowing when I will have work again is
Yeah, I can
frightening.
imagine. Did you at least say, were you at least able to get EI?
Yeah, so I'm on EI,
Okay.
and depending on how long I'm on EI for, I might have to reapply because they reactivated my old one.
Oh.
So basically, like EI, if you've ever had to like apply for it before,
Yeah.
which I think you have, it lasts for so long, and then if you reactivate during that term, it just reopens your pre-existing information, I guess.
Yeah.
So I might, depending on how long, have to reapply, but hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not.
There's just, yeah.
The simpler, the better.
Yeah, yeah. Because of everything that's going on. Like I was saying to Steven, like, it's so stressful and concerning because, like, right now, obviously, I can't really apply for work because,
Yeah.
like, nobody's hiring. And then even if, say, end of April, end of May, like, let's say end of May, people are like, yeah, we're going to start hiring. Everybody's going to be in, like, this recuperation from lost income that it's hard to say what the job market will be. And even if that's the case, like, who is potentially going to hire me for 4 months?
Yeah.
And-
I have the feeling there's going to be a lot of minimum wage jobs that are going to be filling up just for so people can get back into the workforce and get something.
Exactly. So that's kind of stressful. And not to mention, like, it's not like I work for some nonprofit childcare company. Like, it's an independent company. So
Yeah.
it's hard to say what the impact of being for them will be, right?
Yeah. Just
Like-
being out of business for however long.
Yeah, and then, like, even reopening, what it'll be like for reopening. Like, will it for any of our families return? Like,
Yeah.
it's super stressful. And I know it sounds like super corny, but, like, a lot of these kids, like, I'm super close with these kids. I call them my kids. They're like, I love them. So to just be like, no goodbye, it's like, oh, no goodbye, and I can't even confirm that this isn't forever.
Yeah.
Like, that's the most painful part, I think. Is being like, every now and then being like, oh man, like, I didn't
Everything
get
was
to
just
say
so
goodbye.
abrupt.
And so many things are up in the air. And, like, what if they don't come back? Or what if, like, I just don't come back for whatever reason, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can only freaking imagine.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. Like, just not getting to see people has been driving me nuts. Like, I saw Lish for the first time on Friday,
Oh wow.
and that was it. And even then, it was just kind of like, oh, okay, we're gonna hang out in the same house, but we're not gonna, like, hug, no kissing, no nothing, like,
You stay 6 feet over there, and we will.
pretty much. Like, we stayed, like, 4 feet away from each other on the couch, but that was about it. And then we just sat there and shot the shit and watched some TV for a bit, and that was it.
Like a
But that was
Jane
the first time
Austen
that I've seen her
novel.
since this all happened.
yep. It's hard. It's hard for sure. I think, like, I'm kind of introverted, so staying
Oh, I am
home
too, but
isn't staying home and being told I can't go see anybody isn't, like, a super big deal. Like, sure, I really wish we were able to play, like, our D&D game and stuff like that, or, like, but generally speaking, like, I'm kind of like, yeah, I'll manage. It's just all the uncertainty that's stressful and upsetting, and, like,
Yeah.
and then knowing that there's, like, 70 kids out there that are probably struggling with school, and, like, and it sounds, like, really conceited maybe, but, like, even not seeing their teachers and their summit leaders. Like, there are kids that legitimately are, like, we're their champions, right? Like, we're their go-to when they can't go to other people, and then to be like, yeah, it kills me. That's what kills
yeah.
me. But otherwise, okay. Working
Yeah.
on lots of crochet.
Yeah, like, I don't mind the isolation aspect of it. It's just not being able to see the people that I want to see.
Yep. I agree with
And
that
I'm not,
statement.
I get cooped up too, so I have a lot that I can do in the house, and I've been recording more,
Yeah.
and hopefully I'll be streaming a little bit more, so that's fun. But other than that, it's just been kind of like, oh, okay, what games can I just play to kill time?
Oh, yeah. No, I know. It's so hard. And then, like, probably tomorrow we're gonna have to go get a few groceries. but I'm like scared about what that's gonna look like.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
No, some
Yeah,
of
it's
the
not too bad.
some of the grocery stores in Okotoks, is my understanding, that they're only letting a certain amount of people in the store at a time. So there's like lineups outside of grocery stores.
Yep. They had that at Costco earlier today. Lish sent me a picture.
Hmm.
So it'll look a little nightmarish, but it won't be bad.
Ugh, I hope not. I just need like a couple groceries. Like,
Yeah. That is one thing that I appreciate that I have at this point in time is because I'm working from home, I can just take my lunch break and pop over to Safeway before anybody's had a time to go over there and clear everything out.
yeah, that's true.
And
I mean,
just
I
grab,
could
like,
go
oh,
to
there's
Extra
actually
Foods.
fucking chicken today. I can grab some chicken because that's the meat that lasts the longest in the fridge, and that's what people are buying the fuck out of. I can buy some soup. I can buy some fucking ramen. I can buy pasta because Jesus Christ, pasta is one of the first things that goes.
Yeah. I find like it's super shitty because I'm home. I feel like things that normally we wouldn't run out of, we're running out of a lot faster. Cause
Well,
it's
yeah,
like,
we actually have somebody at home.
it's like, oh shit, like we're out of eggs. We're not usually out of eggs this fast. Oh shit, that's because I've been making an egg in lots of my lunches lately. Or
Yep,
oh,
I've done the same thing. I'm snacking a lot more.
yeah, well, it's not even necessarily like snacking for me. It's just that like I'm home, right? So I'm eating like, depending on what time I get up, I'm actually eating 3 meals a day as opposed to like 1 and maybe 2 if I brought myself a lunch.
Yeah.
So silly.
All right, how we feeling? You ready for some
Good.
race? The man is
Sure, I'll just
standing
turn
there
back
with
on.
his pistol.
He has been for the last like 10 minutes.
Yep.
I was like, these two just went on a fucking break. Why did they do that?
They just
Come on.
wandered off.
Matt, I think your camera might be frozen.
Yeah, I just turned it off while we were in intermission.
Oh, okay. Alrighty.
Save that battery. Race music?
Race music.
All right, so the one volunteer in the yellow shirt stands off to the side and he says, "All right, racers, are you ready?
No.
On your marks, get set, go." Okay. Firstly, I guess I should explain to you how this is gonna run.
Please.
There is
Oh,
200 feet, okay, between you and the finish line.
Okay.
Every turn,
Don't touch my shit.
we're gonna roll initiative first. Every turn, you are going to roll a Dex check for your Pokemon and a Dex check for yourself.
Great.
Sorry, I'm messing up my own rules. You're gonna roll a D20 for yourself and a D20 for your Pokemon. Okay? You will add or subtract from each roll the dexterity modifier for your Pokemon or for you, for each dice. Okay? The goal is to get the two numbers as close to each other as possible. So they can both be low, they can both be high, it doesn't matter, as long as they're as close to each
So
other.
for Liam, I'd be adding. For me, I'd be subtracting.
If you have a negative modifier, you can neither add nor subtract. So it's just straight whatever your D20 rolls.
Okay, so on a turn,
So if you roll
when
a
it's
1
your
and a
turn.
1, it's good.
So on your turn, if you rolled like for you a 15 and your Pokemon a 17, but your Pokemon had a plus and you had a minus, yours just stays and theirs gets the add?
Correct.
Okay.
Or you can subtract theirs if you want. Okay?
Oh, so you can add or
modify
subtract
the
their number.
D20 by their dexterity modifier. So it can either go up
Oh.
to, if they have a modifier of 2, it can go up 1,
This
it
can
can
go
go up
up
2,
or
it
down.
can go down 1, it can go down 2.
So you
The
can,
idea-
and can you do that for yourself or just your Pokemon?
For both of you. So you're
Okay.
going to roll 1 D20 for yourself and add or subtract your dex modifier, and roll 1 for your Pokemon and add and subtract their dex modifier. Okay?
But
Again,
if you have a minus, you can't. It's just
yeah,
the
if it's a
roll.
minus, it's just a straight roll. The idea is that you're
Okay.
trying to bring the two closer together, okay? So,
So it's just straight rolls across the board for me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. If you're
Oh, even for
within...
Billy?
If you're
Billy
within...
has a 0.
Oh, no.
Okay.
If you guys are within 5 of you and your Pokemon, you move your full movement speed, so a full 30 feet.
Okay.
If you roll between 5 and 10 points outside, you move half speed, as
Right.
you guys are tripping and not really in sync. If you
Yep.
roll worse than 10 points apart, you fall down and you don't move any that turn.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, initiative first.
Haha! Oh no, that seems like a waste right now though. That's a nat 20.
I also got a nat 20, so 23 for me.
23 for Brooke.
And a 17 for me.
The only dex-based modifier that I actually have a +2 because I took alert.
Oh god, I hope this goes well.
I just want the money.
Yeah.
Makes me
I
sound
just
so greedy.
don't want that smug kid to get the money.
Yeah, well, that too. I'm really tired of being hit on by a 10-year-old that's a real perv. I'm gonna call
Okay.
him Indigo Home.
Brooke, you are the first to react.
Okay.
Coming out the gate, and you move faster than everybody else. Give me your 2d20s and tell me what your numbers are.
Well, that's bad. So I got another natural 20
Hmm.
But
and a 10.
Okay, so is that including your modifiers?
Yeah,
for
I
both?
added the modifier.
Okay, so 20 and 10
Yeah.
are your two numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. You and your buddy there are having a real problem getting started, and you guys flop coming right out the gate.
We
and
fall over?
You move nada.
I
You're
thought it
still
was
at the
if it
finish
was
line.
more than 10, we don't move. But if
10
it's
or more.
10, oh,
You're right, meets it beats it.
Oh,
You're right, so you
Yeah,
move
yeah.
15. So yeah, you guys are struggling coming out of the gate. You don't quite fall over, but
So-
you're not doing well.
between 6 and 10 is half speed, 11 and onward
Yeah.
is fall, then nothing, and then 5 and up is normal speed.
Correct.
Okay.
Second to go, Indigo. He comes out with his Meowth. The two of them looking quite cocky and quite sure of themselves.
fall in your face.
They move excellently
Okay.
together,
Shit.
making good on their full speed forward. They look at you as they go by, and the boy waves. Jackson.
That's a nat 1 and a 2. It's the first time I've been glad to roll fucking garbage.
Yeah, both of you guys are having a very hard time. Funny enough, synchronizing. As you are wobbling out of the gate. You look hilarious, but you are moving just as fast as if you were just going normally. You move your full 30 feet.
Our unsynchronization is synchronized somehow.
The young girl comes out of the gate with her Mankey. They too are doing quite well with each other. They
Damn.
look each other in the eye and they move synchronized down the field.
I rolled so bad. Except one was a natural 20.
Next, the sun with the little blue salamander Pokemon comes out. He is not doing well at all. The two of them faceplant right on the ground, right in front of the finish line, and the father kind of looks down at the
You mean the
son.
starting line?
Yes, the starting line. And he moves nada. Yeah, the father is next, and he comes out with his large salamander Pokemon. They seem distracted by the sun, and the two of them stumble a bit, but do make some progress, moving 15 feet. And lastly, the boy, who wasn't quite paying attention when the gun went off, finally makes it across the starting line. And totters down the field. He moves at his full speed as well. So right now it's Indigo, the young girl, the young boy, and Jackson all in the lead,
Hell
with
yeah.
the father and Brooke pulling up second place, and the youngest contestant on the ground getting up slowly. Top of the round, Brooke.
Why every time I'm in a competition? Oh, it's an 8 and a 17.
So
That's within the 10 though.
Yep. So you're gonna move half speed. Liam is looking at you really disappointed, like, "Whoa, whoa,
Except it's Liam's
whoa."
that's rolling bad.
Okay. Next up, the cocky boy, Indigo.
on
Once
his
again,
face.
this
Fall.
time he doesn't look like he's moving nearly as well, but his Meowth is just as off kilter as he
I
is.
just
And
want
the
him to
two of
fall on
them
his face.
move forward. Good.
Can't you grant me that?
Can't I grant you that? Jackson, your turn.
Okay. An 11 and a 13.
11 and a 13. Once again, this time you guys have picked up your pace a bit, and you move forward at the exact same rate. Sudowoodo looks very impressed with himself.
Woo
on, Billy.
woo!
Yeah, and you progress forward another 30 feet.
And depending on him, his dex is way better than mine. Which is sad, because it's just neutral.
The young girl comes up from behind, this time having more troubles than she was before, but manages to maintain her speed. She pulls up to 60 feet as well. The youngest contestant slowly pulls himself off the ground and starts up again. This time doing much better. He doesn't manage to make it his full speed, but he's starting to gain some ground on you guys. The father calls back to his kid, "Come on, boy, you can do it!" And takes off.
Come on, daddy.
And the young boy, who was the last to leave the starting line, again, seems to catch the perfect synchronization with his Pokemon and pulls forward to 60 feet. The end of the second turn. In the lead is Indigo, the young boy and girl, and Jackson, all at 60 feet off the finish line. Second place is the father at 45, Brooke at 30, and then the youngest kid at 15.
Yeah.
Coming
Wait a
in
minute.
to the
So
start of
my-
the third turn. Your turn.
Did I say that my initiative was 17? Because it should have been 18. That's my bad. I subtracted 3 instead of 2.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it wouldn't change your spot in the
Ah,
rotation.
okay. God damn it, Indigo.
Natural 20 and a 10.
I've never seen someone so disappointed to have good rolls.
This is one of those weird ones where it's like, it's not necessarily good to roll high, because you'd have to
Yeah.
roll double high. Yeah, so...
Natural 20 and a 10.
Unfortunately, you guys are having a really hard time making rhythm. You guys haven't fallen
Screw
over
mine
yet.
and Liam's
You haven't
life.
fallen, but you're not making the same speed that other people are. But, who knows, you could come from behind. Indigo.
Fall, Indigo.
Yeah, he keeps up his speed just barely. It
Damn it.
seems touch and go there for a little bit, but he manages to maintain his lead. Jackson.
It's 2 nat ones. Terrible rolls, but in this instance, amazing.
It is this strange dance that Jackson and Billy are doing where they're basically tripping over each other, catching each other in sync, and shimmying down the field.
It's like a fucking vaudeville sketch.
It is the goofiest thing, and the crowd is laughing. They are killing themselves looking at you. Indigo actually looks a little peeved that they're not paying attention to him. The young girl maintains her speed. She's not paying attention to any of you. Her and her Mankey are totally locked in. The
focus on the
youngest
competition.
kid in the rear finally picks up his speed, and him and his Pokemon start pulling forward a bit, passing Brooke temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
The father looks back, very proud of his kid, and takes off down the field again. And the young boy seems to lose a little bit of speed that time, and falls back to half his speed. Okay, top of the round, Brooke.
My dice always fail me.
What was that?
A 19 and a 4.
Oh no!
My dice always fail me.
4 final number?
Always. Yes.
So
Follow
this
my
time, the two of you, after struggling this whole time, it finally gets the better of you. Your legs
Yup.
get wrapped up and you fall on the ground. And Liam hits the ground with his fist and starts pulling himself up and trying to pick you up.
You know what I feel most bad about is that I have a Pokemon that actually gives a shit about winning.
Yeah. Billy's just in it for the fun of it.
Indigo.
Oh,
Maintains his pace. He continues moving, full speed, him and his Pokemon in perfect sync. He flashes a smile to the crowd.
I think if Liam wanted it less, we would do better.
Jackson.
That's a 6 and a 2.
A 6 and a 2. Again, you guys are moving full speed down the way.
I love how it's all low numbers though, so we're just continually stumbling. It's like when you're running down a hill and you start tripping, but you can't do anything but keep on running down the hill.
The crowd continues to laugh and cheer at you guys. The young girl, perfect step for step with her Pokemon. Her and the Mankey are moving fine.
Did someone win?
No, not yet.
How many feet have we
The
got now?
sun, once again, falls over flat on his face. Boom. And stops at 45 feet. The father looks back a little bit concerned at his boy, and likewise trips over his feet and falls flat on the ground. And laughs, and he looks back and he says, "It's okay, son." The young boy is moving his full speed and continues forward. So currently in the lead, it's Indigo, the young girl, and Jackson at the 120-foot mark, just passing center
I'm never
field.
catching up.
Behind them is the
120
young
mark?
boy at 105, the father at 75, where he fell over and started to get up, and neck and neck for last place is Brooke and the young kid
At 45.
at 45. Top of the round.
That's a 13 and an 18.
And
There
5.
we go.
The two of you finally get up, and Liam locks eyes with you, and the two of you take off down the field, matching step for step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, moving your full 30 feet.
Fall, Indigo. Fall. Fall. I'm not vindictive at all, or competitive at all.
Indigo looks back, surprised to see that you guys are catching up a little bit, and he actually stumbles. He doesn't fall, but he doesn't maintain
fall on
his
your
full speed.
face. I just want him to fall on his face.
The only opening I need.
Jackson.
17 and a 15.
There you go. You move your full speed this time. The two of you are in sync and actually moving well together. It's almost like Billy is starting to get it.
Oh my god. I love these two dice.
Yeah.
Just
The
own
one and the
all
two
of
and the
my
double one.
The young girl and her Mankey, though, are keeping stride with you, Jackson.
Damn it. I go first though, so I will technically cross first if I keep this pace up.
True. The sun falls flat on his face again. He is maintaining 45 feet and not moving any further. The two of them. He's starting to get in a bit of an argument with his Pokemon.
Feel that.
The father, instead of running forward, actually stops and he's like, no, come on, you guys, get along, come on. We've got a whole race to run here. And he falls down again and doesn't move any further. The young boy, keeps going at his full pace.
Pass, Daddy.
Catches up to Indigo. Okay, top of the round, Brooke.
That's an 11 and a 14.
There you go. You guys are catching on, picking up speed. You've now passed the halfway mark. Indigo Indigo keeps looking behind him, and he's not falling, but he is stumbling, and he's losing a bit of ground, and he looks back up, and he goes, What? What? So that's gonna be... Jackson.
Would just like to point out I'm rolling dice for shits and giggles to see which ones are rolling the closest. I've rolled 5 natural 20s just in the course of this fucking game. Some
Oh my
actually in the
God.
game and some for me just rolling my fucking dice.
What'd you roll, Jackson?
9 and a 13.
Maintaining your
Nice.
speed, you are...
Can you beat this guy?
You can almost taste that finish
That's
line.
my goal.
It's coming. Yeah. The young girl who is keeping... She is keeping stride for stride with you. She turns and she looks at you competitively. You can see sparks in her eyes. The young boy picks up and grits his teeth, and him and the blue salamander Pokemon start making their way downfield, making good speed. He actually catches up to where his father is. His father, however, gets up and runs his full movement, breaking the halfway mark. And the young boy seems to start to falter a bit. He can see the finish line and you guys approaching it, and he seems to be a little discouraged. He moves half his speed. Top of the round. At the top of the round, we have Jackson and the young girl neck and neck. The two of them could feasibly pass the finish line this round. Directly behind them is Indigo, about 30 feet behind. The young boy at another 150, and then the father and Brooke at 105, and the son in last place. Brooke.
That is a 10 and a 10.
Awesome. You move your full
Little
movement.
too late now.
Not yet. It's not over yet.
You don't know, everyone else could fall.
Everyone else could fall on their face a few rounds? I doubt it.
Yeah.
Indigo moves his full speed. He picks it up,
Damn.
gritting his teeth, determined, and he catches up to where Jackson is.
I was hoping that would be the moment where he falls.
Jackson, this could be it. This could be the winning roll.
4 and a 5.
That's 30 feet. You burst across the finish line. You and Sudowoodo right in tandem. Woo, woo, woo!
I am never doing any public competition without Billy, because my god, apparently he's just the good luck charm.
The young girl, seeing you two win, actually falls over. She falls flat on her face, moving no further this round. Which is actually really sad. She was doing really well.
Me and my clumsy boy.
Falls on his face again. He got a little overzealous. He falls on his face and doesn't progress any further. The father moves half his speed forward. Putting him at 120. The young boy moves his full speed, putting him at 180. Okay, top of the round. Jackson has already won it with Sudowoodo, but Indigo, the young girl, the young boy, are all at 180 feet. Brooke is at 145, not too far behind. The father is at 120, and the son is at 75, yet to break that halfway line. Brooke.
It's a 3 and an 8.
It's within 5. You move your full speed. You are now at 175. You could feasibly pass next round.
Yeah, but I'm not coming in anymore.
Indigo sees you hot on his heels. And he falls over.
Good!
Flat on his face. Not even like close. Like
Dick.
17 and 2. Like he just biffs it hard. And eats dirt. Jackson, you already won.
Hell yeah.
The young girl picks up and she pushes herself across the finish line for second place.
Just beat Indigo, Brooke.
The sun
Uh,
manages to make it half speed, not quite to halfway. The father, likewise, moves at half speed, not quite in tandem with his Pokemon. The young boy moves his full speed and crosses the finish line for 3rd place. And he stops and he cheers. Top of the round, Brooke.
it's a 3 and a 6.
Okay. You guys move 5 feet, passing Indigo, still picking himself out of the dirt as you cross the finish line in 4th place. I am curious how the other guys are going to do. Indigo picks himself up and he crosses right behind you. Hot on your tail. The only people left are the father and the son. And both of them are struggling. I am not even going to continue rolling for them. They quit halfway through, and the father picks up his son and says, "It's okay, you did all right. You did okay." The son not even crossing halfway. But the two of them are kind of laughing. The larger blue salamander Pokemon is consoling the smaller blue salamander Pokemon. But they seem to be having a nice family outing. The cocky kid, Indigo, comes up to you, Brooke.
Of course.
And he sizes you up and down, and he says, "All right, I'm a big enough man. I'll admit that I underestimated you. Good work."
Good job.
This attitude, I swear. You know what? My pride is hurt. Pride is hurt. I will accept a challenge from you. A Pokemon battle. How about right here, tomorrow?
Sure.
And if I win, get a little kiss right here.
And if I win, you double whatever cash money you would have given me the first time.
And he smiles. And he looks back at the man who's been accompanying him in his suit. And he looks back at you and he says, "Right, Barbie doll, you got a deal. Tomorrow, noon, right here."
Okay.
He gets all excited. He turns around and he looks at the man who's been walking around with him, and a little skip in his step. And you
then
can see the two of them
get down on Liam's
walk
level, and I'm
away.
like, tomorrow he cannot win.
Liam's still like looking at his leg and looking at the bow that was tied there and looking up at you like, "Oh.
Buddy, you can't take it too serious. Sometimes you win and sometimes you don't.
Jackson, Billy is like grabbing your shoulders and jumping up and down. He is
Yes,
so
Billy,
excited.
you did good. I feel like you carried that, and me literally at some points.
Woo, 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 woo. And he like turns around as you can see a number of people who are gathering around you at this point in time. Most of them old, but there's a couple kids who are like poking at Billy. A lot of them are congratulating you, Jackson, for a job well done. Some of them are like, You were hilarious, man. I didn't think you would make it, but you kept going.
I didn't think I would either. It's like running down a hill and lose balance, and all you can do is continue to run down the hill and hope you'll come out okay at the bottom.
Eventually, you guys are gathered again by the group of volunteers, and they lead you over to a small podium. Brooke, they put you off to the side with the other contestants. But they take Jackson, and they put you on the highest. They take the young girl, and they put her beside you on a step down, and they take the young boy, and they put him on the third. There is a really silly mock celebration where all the volunteers pull out kazoos. Each of them turn around and they hand you a little gold coin. That is clearly just foil wrapped chocolate. The crowd sort of cheers and laughs. And then the volunteers start giving out your prizes. For first place, Jackson, they give you...
Hell yeah. Give me that money.
600 Pokebucks. They give you what looks to be an oversized Swiss Army knife. But as you go through it, you can see that there is a small lighter. There is a small saw. There's a few different knives. There's a pair of scissors. There's a small bundle of twine that kind of comes out and connects at one end. There's a tiny flashlight. There's a whole bunch of little things on this.
That's super duper handy.
And they also hand you a $200 Pokedonald's coupon. The young girl, they likewise give $200. She sort of cries a little bit and picks up the Mankey and they hug. And a coupon, and the young boy, they give a coupon, and him and his oddish kind of shrug, and they walk towards the Pokedonald's.
Is Liam still sulking?
He is a bit upset. He's looking at the other people at the podium, and he's like, oh.
Liam, I know that it's important for you to win and do good. And I get it. But just as important it is to you, I'm sure it was important to the other people too. Did you see how disappointed that little girl was to not come in first? And she still got in second. Everybody wants to be successful. But it's how we carry ourselves afterwards and during that are important. That father, he stopped racing because his kid was arguing with his Pokemon. Because in that moment, it was more important for him to just not do the race and take care of his kid. For us, sure, we got off to a rocky start, but we didn't stop and we didn't give up. We kept going. We can't win them all, but it's the journey and getting there, and that we have fun and we do the best that we can and we don't give up.
Kind of kicks the dirt a little bit. And he looks up at Jackson and Billy, still standing on the podium. Billy's like, woo! Woo! Cheering.
And they won the three-legged race, sure. But I know that tomorrow you're gonna be there for me when I have to fight that Pokemon battle with that jerk Indigo.
Kicks the dirt a little harder.
And I know that you're gonna do me proud. Because you wouldn't let me down. Just like you didn't let me down in the race today.
Puffs.
We didn't win, but I had fun because I was with you. And I really need you to help me beat Indigo because I really, really want to win that because you might not understand, but that guy is a creep. He makes me uncomfortable, and he wants me to give him a kiss if I lose.
Liam looks at you and he kind of snarls a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to give him a kiss either, so you gotta help me win.
And he nods.
And I kiss him on the cheek.
He looks a little like, and he looks down at the ground. You see a light blush.
Kisses for only people that I care about. And then I run over and I kiss Jackson on the cheek.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Brooke.
And then I kiss Billy.
Billy like picks you up in his arms and goes, "Woo!" And he starts showing you the little chocolate medallion that he has.
Woo! You did very good, Billy. Woo! And Liam, besides, we should be proud of our friends.
Looks up at at the Sudowoodo and goes,
because
rumbles.
their success is ours too. Because we're happy for them. Oh, stop sulking. Then I scoop him up.
He resists it as much as he can, but he gives into it.
I haven't won every race or competition that I was in either. I've probably lost more than I've won, honestly. One day, I'll take you home and I'll show you my room. I'll show you my water polo team and my awards. But I can tell you that as many awards as I've won, I've lost just as many. And you'll win some too. We just haven't found the right one for you yet.
Not three-legged races.
Nope.
Not beauty pageants.
Nope.
Nope.
Strangely, I didn't anticipate Jackson winning either of those.
Yeah, same. To be honest, if this one wasn't based on how close the rolls were and was instead based on how high they were, I would have totally lost. I rolled,
I
a
rolled
1 and a
3
2
nat
and then 2 nat
20s. I would have
1s.
done great.
Yeah, exactly. I rolled 3 nat 1s and I won. So.
I would like. How much time do we have until the fireworks?
So at this point in time, maybe 2.5, going on close to 3 hours have passed since you last left Caleb at the Poke Center. It's starting to turn. What would be? It'd be like 6-ish o'clock. You can see the sun is starting to crest. Not really going down and not so much getting dark, but you can tell it's going to start getting dark.
Okay, this is really dorky, and I don't care. While we're waiting around for fireworks,
Sure.
I'm gonna see if there's anything that I can go around and like purchase to put together like a ribbon for Ryulu.
Yeah.
A ribbon.
Like a first place
Like the blue
like
ribbon.
blue ribbon, and then like this is like my champion on it
Oh.
for him.
So most of the shops themselves are closed. Just given the fact that, one, the time, but also this festival has gridlocked the entire town. There's nobody moving in or out of it. It's just a huge cluster of people, stages, tents, carnival attractions, that sort of stuff. So finding something like a craft dealership or something like that isn't going to happen. There's lots of people who are selling balloons, tons of people who are selling flowers, people who are selling popcorn and cotton candy, and those sort of things.
There's
You
nothing
could
like.
always. You
Sorry.
could always go to one of these shops that sells balloons, and they probably have ribbon that they're using to tie them with.
If any of the balloon shops have ribbon.
Sure. You go over to this old man who's holding a number of colorful balloons, and he says, "Hey there, hi, one for you then."
No, I was wondering if I could buy just some ribbon.
Ribbon? What no balloon?
No balloon.
Sure. much you need?
And then I lean in and I whisper, I want to make like a ribbon for my Pokemon, like he won an award.
He looks down at the Pokemon who's clearly still sulking, arms crossed, looking around like, ugh, I don't want to be here anymore. And he says, all right. I got an idea. Sure. And he turns around and he's got this little trolley behind him where a number of the balloons are tied onto. And he starts going through some of his drawers and he pulls out a red length of ribbon and he pulls it out theatrically. Pulls out a pair of scissors and cuts it. He holds it out and he hands it to you. And he says, it's not a balloon. Free of charge.
Thank you.
Have a nice night, little lady.
Thanks. I'm gonna try crafting a ribbon.
Okay, what are you doing with it?
Like folding it and folding it and folding it so that it makes like kind of like a ribbony thing with like two tassels coming down.
I'll give her my ribbon as like a point of reference so she can see what they did.
Okay, so you like dig out your blue ribbon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dig out Bailey's ribbon.
Yeah. It's not difficult. Like, you can't get the same buttoned and embroidered sort of effect to it, but in terms of just like folding the ribbon into place how it is, not difficult. Not gonna roll for it.
Did he have any like buttons?
No, he had like staples, bits of tape, stuff like that.
Would he let me borrow a stapler or something?
Seems amicable.
Okay. And then somewhere I want to find like paper.
Okay.
Make a little thing in the middle.
Okay.
On the front and the back.
Yeah.
And then I'll attach that as well. And on the front, I'll put first place, and in the back it'll say first place in my heart and always my champion.
Okay. You find what is like a Pokedonald's flyer that has just been blowing around and discarded. On the front it says, try the new filet-like fish burger. With every meal today only, get a free fry and drink. And on the backside you scribble your note, write it up nicely, and press it into the middle.
Okay. And then after the fireworks, I'll give it to him.
Okay. This whole time, Liam's been fairly oblivious to what you're doing. He's just following in step, looking around at the crowd, looking down at his feet, generally being mopey. So he doesn't seem to notice what you're doing, or if he does, he's not making any sort of
Not putting
connection.
two and two together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy a couple balloons.
Okay. You go up to the balloon vendor. He says, for your granddaughter then.
No, not for her. For someone else who I think might appreciate them.
Sure. What colors you like?
Let's go with. Let me just look this up. So I get the colors. Let's go with yellow and pink.
One pink. Okay. And he goes through and he pulls out a yellow one. And he says, here, hold that one. And he starts rifling through and he says, ha, the last pink one. There you go. Popular amongst the ladies.
I can imagine.
That's 50 Pokebucks each.
Perfect, and I'll hand him 100 Pokebucks.
He takes it. He tips his hat to you and he says, have a nice night there, sir.
Thank you. You as well. How's Mawile looking? Because I've had her out this entire time.
She has been following in your shadow. Given that there are so many people here and the frank conversation that you had earlier, she hasn't outright bit anybody. There have been a few occasions where somebody's come close to like bumping into her and she is like full on snarled at them and they've moved backwards. But she has been more or less non-hostile.
Perfect.
This whole time.
I'm gonna go up to her with the balloons. And I'm gonna give her, or reach out the yellow one first and say, here, I'm not sure if you ever had a balloon before, but it's just kind of fun to carry around with you.
As you reach out with the balloon, she looks up at this floating thing and backs up very suddenly, bouncing into somebody, and looks back and then looks back up at the balloon. Her maw opens and starts snapping at it. And she looks very, very uncertain about this thing in your hand.
Oh, it's
That is
okay. And
floating there.
I'll pull down like the ribbon or the string or whatever's holding it.
Yep.
And I'll just hold the balloon like in my hands, and I'll just go. It doesn't hurt or anything. It's sort of like bumping it against my head and get on my hair all staticky and stuff like that. Just like this is the worst that it can do to you, and that's just making your hair kind of stand on end. But it's not gonna hurt you. It's just a little novelty thing that you can carry around if you like.
Can you give me a Pokemon handling check?
Sure. No, what? No. You didn't betray me before, but these have been rolling really well. Except for that one time when they rolled. Okay, that wasn't in the tray. That's a 17 plus 21.
Excellent. You see the apprehension sort of start to leave a little bit, and it turns more into curiosity. You hold the balloon away from your head, and your hair is still like sticking straight out towards it. And she reaches out and touches the balloon and gets a little shock, and she reaches her hand back, and then she slowly approaches it again, holds it with two hands and holds it in front of her, just studying this odd foreign thing. She squeezes it a little bit and it compresses, and she lets it go a little bit and it puffs back out. And then she looks at you.
And if you hold it by the string, it'll just dangle above you and follow you wherever you walk. And you can have this one too if you'd like. And I hold the other one, the pink one, out to her as well, just by the string.
Okay. She reaches out and she grabs the string from you. So now she's got one balloon in one hand, and she's holding it by the rubber, and she's holding the pink one by the string, and she's looking at these two objects that have now come to rest in her hands. And you can tell that she's like really trying hard to process what is happening to her right now. And what are these two things that have come to exist in her hands, in her grasps?
It's just a bit of harmless fun, that's all. I noticed you've been tense this whole time, so I figured I'd give you something that might help you ease up.
She looks at you, and you get a sense of not hostility, but almost like intrigue is the best way to put it, or maybe a little bit of wonder as to this new thing that you have introduced her to. She squeezes the one that is in her hand, and she yanks on the string of the other one, and it kind of boys, and you can see a bit of a smile crack.
We have broken the tsundere.
And then she just looks at you like, what now?
Now you just walk around with it as we go around the rest of the fair.
She looks at the two of them, and she holds the one that she's holding in her hand close to her, and like under her arm, like a football, holding it close. And she likewise brings the string in close to her body, almost protectively. Her maw opens up, and you can see her like studying everybody around her. She holds them close to her protectively.
I should warn you, they are kind of fragile, so if like one of your little sharp teeth nicks it, they might pop and they'll make a loud noise just so it doesn't startle you, just in case that does happen.
She
Or
looks
if you
at
go
you.
too close to a tree, it might pop. It's not going to hurt you, it's just going to be a sound thing.
She looks at you, not entirely understanding, but still very intrigued by these two objects that she has.
Actually, you know what? Here, I'll show you, and I'll go up to the balloon guy and I'll buy another one.
Okay. Yeah, he takes your 50 Pokebucks, and he
50?
hands you
I'll
another
mark
one.
it off real quick. Yeah.
50 for a balloon?
Yeah. I wasted 150 Pokebucks to teach a Pokemon a lesson. To try to have some sort of life-changing moment in this Mowile's life. And I'll just walk back up to her and go, so if something sharp touches the balloon, this'll happen. And I'll pull out the little Swiss Army knife.
Yep.
And I'll just take out one of the knives and I'll just boop.
She looks positively aghast. Like she saw this balloon pop right in front of her and she wasn't afraid by the pop, but more by the fact that there's now just balloon shrapnel and the guts of this thing around. And she looks at the ground, seeing the little pieces of rubber, and she's like, she looks around at it, and then
It's gonna
she
be
looks at
heartbreaking
her.
when those balloons die for her.
She looks at her own balloons, and she holds the one in the string even closer to her side, and she holds tighter to the other one under her armpit, and that one goes pop, and she jumps in the air, and she holds tighter to the one pink one that is still string in her hand, and she looks at the guts of the yellow balloon that she just popped in her hand, and she looks up at you almost a little sad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want me to get you another one?
She looks at the guts for a second. She considers
Or
it.
was this more, or did this experiment backfire?
She throws it onto the ground, and she looks away, but she holds that pink one really tight to her.
Okay, I'll leave you with the pink one then. I won't get you another for now. We'll see if they still have some by the time the fair's closed.
She doesn't acknowledge.
Progress? And then immediate decline?
You've traumatized her. Now when her little sweet pink baby dies, it's gonna be traumatic.
I have to explain the life cycle to a freaking Mobile, okay.
Life cycle of a balloon. Sorry,
Well-
how long until the fireworks?
You're not sure what time they are. That's a lie. There's posters and whatnot around. You know the fireworks start about 9.
Yeah, and I think he
About
said
6.
to get there, to show up like 3 or 4 hours after we had parted ways, and it's been about 2.
It's
A little
going
more.
on about 3 now.
Okay, so we could go over there now.
Yeah, go over there and be safe.
Let go. No, stop it.
I thought that was in character, and I was very concerned for a second.
No, Ozzy's grabbing onto my legs.
We made the mistake of leaving the studio door open.
And then I have one cat over here, and
One
I have one
Elgato.
cat over
Okay.
here, and a dog in front of me. Okay, so let's start making our way over to Caleb.
Sure, see if he needs a hand now.
Right? You guys make your way over towards the fireworks tent. And this seems like a good point to end tonight's episode.
I gotta remember to give Liam my ribbon.
And I've got to remember that a Mawile is an animal and not a person, and can't understand that a balloon didn't just die. That this is not a living, breathing creature, and that she doesn't have to worry about it.
Well,
Okay, I'm a cheesy 16-year-old that just made a ribbon for my Pokemon that says he's my hero.
Yeah. I'm a 72-year-old who's never had kids, who is very desperately trying to treat these Pokemon as his kids and is fucking it up like he would if he had kids.
like having grandchildren.
Yep.
Just trying to teach Liam that there are more important things than winning. But also,
Oh, hey, Mac.
Brooke does like to win.
Welcome to the stream, Mac. Sorry you caught on just at the end of it. But hello.
It's okay. It's a good advertisement for what he's got to go back and see now.
Exactly.
So,
This is a super RP heavy one, and I liked it.
yeah, a little bit different.
I am not kissing that boy.
I-
If I
We're gonna
lose, I'm going to lick his face.
We might be
Oh,
into
I
that.
was thinking if it was me, I would totally would have been like, okay, and if I win, you kiss me here, and then point to my ass.
No, Brooke wants the money.
Oh yeah,
She's got to take care of her
That's a waste.
Pokemon.
that's a way smarter decision. I'm just saying, I definitely would have been a shit.
Oh, if I lose, I am full on going to give him a raspberry and then lick his face.
Oh god.
Ozzy
I don't
grabbing
know
my leg.
if he would. I don't know if he wouldn't like that though. That's the only thing.
Whatever.
He might be into it.
It's either I have to kiss him or I have to be a shit about kissing him, and I'd rather be a shit.
Yeah, fair.
So, any suggestions for what the title of this episode should be?
Something about balloons.
Or My Fair Lady. For the fair or something.
All good. Well, if anybody
Three
in the
legs is better
chat,
than one.
if anybody in the chat or who comes across this later has a good suggestion, I have absolutely changed episodes in the past for ones that are more punny than the suggestions
Oh
that
yeah,
we came
what
up
we
with.
come up with.
You guys, any other announcements? Anything else you got to say?
No, more Code Vein tomorrow.
They
That's
all
about it.
float until they don't.
Code Vein at 7 o'clock MST.
Yeah, Code Vein at 7 o'clock MST, 7 p.m. MST.
Very good. Friday we have our next live from the Hive.
Yeah.
Uh,
Probably Paladins or something akin to that because quarantine.
Great quarantine stream. Our
Quarantine
next
makes doing the Nuzlocke a little more difficult.
True. Our next PD&D session will be on the 20th. Again at 7 p.m. MST if you want to join us live. I should also note that this would technically, this episode right now that we're completing, be our 1-year anniversary stream. Because our first Pokemon
This
D&D
one today?
today, because our
Yep.
first Pokemon D&D stream was on April 8th last year.
Yeah, since we only do it every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Well, no, it would have been 2 days away. Yeah.
right.
So it's been 1 year of Pokemon D&D. Of Padunda.
Badunda. Thank you again to @JoeTheDM for putting together this wonderful homebrew. I enjoy running this system. If you guys want to give it a try, go to www.pokemon5e.com. And he's got all the books up there as well as some other wonderful tools. I believe both Matt and Melissa are using the phone app. No? Maybe
Yeah.
just
I
Matt.
might be later. Especially
The
if
app
the
is
computer keeps having
fantastic.
issues.
They did a really good job putting it together. It's a good community
Oh, yeah.
behind it. Thank you to @TheLighterArts. You can find her link down in the YouTube description in the archives for the new player tokens, which we didn't unveil today, but you might have
Didn't
seen
get a
on
chance.
one of
You
the streams.
will next time when I fight the
They will be there,
shit
and they
can.
will not be the last.
Next time on PD&D.
Brooke takes
Thank you
on
to-
Indigo away.
Indigo away. Thank you to @Mikkel_Beats, who put together the Pokey and Chill soundtrack. It's my favorite music that is on these streams right now. And Kevin McLeod for everything else. See his stuff at incompetech.com.
I can pretty well guarantee you, if you watch YouTube on a semi-regular basis, you have heard Kevin McLeod's music.
Yeah, pretty much. I even hear it on the radio nowadays.
Yep.
Okay, if that is all, this is probably the time to bid our fair audience adieu. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow, whatever.
Do all that fun stuff.
Yeah.